Good morning, everyone. We are live here in Concord, New Hampshire. Of course, the capital of the great state of New Hampshire. This is the Granite State. President Trump on his way here to this conference center to deliver yet again another great speech to the American people. Of course, we know he won the election in 2020. I'm sure my friends at the fake news media do not like to hear that, but it is what it is. We will be seeing him speak around 12:30, 1 o'clock, and there are a number of speakers that will attend here today. Now, this is the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women's 76th Lilac Luncheon. And joining me right now, before we get to a number of people with that federation, I ran into, is it Gusta, right?
Yes, like Maine or Georgia.
I saw you from a mile away with that hat.
Love the hat.
Well, you're from Georgia. You're up here.
No. My name.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Augusta, got it. Tell us about your thoughts about the president and being here today.
I've worked for him for years, and finally I think I'm going to get a chance to meet him. And I'm such an admirer of what he's done, what he can do, how he's surviving all these attacks that are going on. And so this is exciting for me.
And this is the first time seeing the president in person?
In person, or meeting him. I've seen him in person a lot.
Awesome. What are your thoughts when it comes to a message to the American people right now? Obviously, the fake news media, what they do is they say, it's business as usual. Let's continue our coverage, doing all kinds of other stories. Oh, don't pay attention to what's going on. Yeah. Oh, we're paying attention, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and this is a man such an admiration. I think he's a workaholic. I mean, he sees so many things that need to be done, and he's been doing them. Like, we were stationed in a NATO country, and NATO was naughty. They weren't paying their full share of what they'd pledged to do. Now, he got them to start paying up, and it's huge, in the billions of dollars. I mean, it's a detail. It's a wonderful thing, and I like the unemployment. The lowest levels of unemployment for blacks, for women, for Hispanics, for people are huge. That was wonderful.
And what are your thoughts about all of the fake indictments being thrown his way?
I think it makes him stronger. I mean, I don't think most people could take it, what he's being exposed to. And one by one, a lot of these are being turned out to be phony accusations.
That's very true. Now, do you wear this kind of gear out in New Hampshire? Does anybody say anything to you when you're wearing a hat like that?
Well, actually, there's some people are a little bit vociferous about their anti-Trumpism, so I don't wear it.
I hear you. And finally, in 24, obviously, that's about less than 500 days away when it's the vote. Your thoughts about the 24 election?
I just think it's so key. I mean, which way is America going to go? Are we going down or up? And I think with Trump, our chances of going up. And some of the things that have gone on in Washington, we were stationed there several times. It makes me very uncomfortable.
That's a good way to put it. Up or down, and hopefully we go up. Thank you so much, Gusta, for joining us.
Well, it's nice to meet you,
Nice
Matt.
to meet you, too.
Okay.
Yeah, we just ran into Gusta outside. Obviously, we were running around here to get live here in Concord and saw her in our next interview, the comms director for the Federation of the Republican Party, for the Women's Republican Party here in New Hampshire. Will join us soon, along with Karoline Leavitt, obviously a rock star from New Hampshire, ran for Congress, doing great things, also being the spokesperson for MAGA Inc. Now, before we get to our next topic and interview, let's just pan the room real quick as we share a couple things about our friends over at Birch Gold. I can tell you this, with Biden in the Oval Office, we've seen inflation surge, deficit spending, and the national debt hitting record highs. So it's directly because of these challenges that President Trump recently warned, quote, our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years, end quote. Now, in a direct affront to the dollar's status as global reserve currency, the BRICS group of nations led by China and Russia are rumored to be just 2 months away from launching their own currency. So with the dollar seemingly on its last legs, it's more important than ever to take a hard look at moving some of your savings into gold. And you can actually own gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account with the help of Birch Gold Group. That's right, it's Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or your 401k into an IRA in gold. And the best part, get this, you don't have to pay a penny out of pocket. And to get started, Birch Gold is giving away a free info kit on gold. Just text the word Trump to 989898. All you got to do is think about this. When currencies fail, gold is a safe haven. How much more time does the dollar have, especially with bricks looming ominously overhead? Protect your savings with gold now. Birch Gold has a A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. Text Trump to 989898. Get your free info kit on gold. Again, text Trump to 989898. And joining us now live is Victoria Sullivan. She's the comms director for the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. Thanks so much for joining us, Victoria.
Thank you for having me. What an exciting day for our organization today.
It sure is. Did you see Augusta just a second ago?
Oh my God, we love Augusta. She's been a role model to so many young Republican women in the state, and she is just an amazing blessing of a woman to all of us.
What would you like to say to the rest of the country from the Granite State here in New Hampshire?
So this is, we are the first in the nation. As much as they tried to take that away from us, we are fighting for our first in the nation. And part of that is the ability for every voter to have contact with every candidate, right? That's an amazing thing that we have here. So today we actually have not only a candidate, but a former president coming to spend time with us. And this is the 76th Annual Lilac Luncheon. It is a huge event in the state, as you can see. We are sold out. And in the past, we have had Barbara Bush and her husband and her son here as our special guests.
And so what time does everybody get in? What time does lunch actually start?
So I am just here to serve for the day, but I know VIP starts about 10:45 and lunch should kick off around between 12 and 1.
Awesome. Now, you guys could have selected other candidates to show up today, but you chose the leader of the free world. Do you believe that he is the leader of the free world still, even though he's not technically in the Oval Office?
Right. So as an organization, and because he is, he's still a candidate in this race, we cannot endorse any candidate. I will say that we were better off under President Trump than we are now. We certainly would be better under any Republican candidate than we are now under Biden and his administration. I believe in President Trump's policies and the work that he did as a president, and as I stated, we were so much better off as a country. Every American family did better under President Trump. But as far as, we can't endorse any candidate, and he is a candidate still, so we're going to walk that line today.
I got you loud and clear. So this is the 76th Lilac Luncheon. How many of the luncheons have you been to? Tell us what it's like to have the people of New Hampshire be able to show up here.
I'm not sure how many I've been to. I try to make every event. I've been a member of the organization for a long time now. I'm a former state rep and actually ran for mayor in the city of Manchester. So I am part of the Republican women leadership in the state. And it's like coming home. It's Old Home Day, and because it's in the spring, it's prior to the election, the city and town elections, so we get to meet candidates that might be putting their name on a ballot locally. This year, it's an off year, so our state elections are next year, but normally we get to see the candidates that would be putting their name on a ballot for the state elections too, because this is prior to the signing up period. So it's just a really great time for everybody to come together, meet new people that might be candidates in the state, meet the grassroots people that do all the work on the ground to get candidates elected. And our goal as an organization is just to empower other conservative women and to get Republicans elected across the state.
And finally, there was a press release that you guys sent out about Ron DeSantis having an event in Hollis, New Hampshire, which is only about 10 minutes down the road, right?
I live in Manchester, about an hour from Manchester. But it's, 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
And again, that goes back to our first in the nation, right? We have an opportunity and a responsibility to make sure every voter can get in front of every candidate that takes time to come here. We as an organization have hosted every single candidate that's reached out to us. We have a Women's Voices series, we've had roundtable discussions, and we have made ourselves accessible and our membership accessible to all the candidates. By having a rival event, it really did a disservice to the voters that couldn't get there to see another candidate, right? And we don't blame the governor. His team on the ground really knows New Hampshire, and they should have known that this was going to actually limit who he could be in front of. So it actually harmed his campaign, I think, because we obviously have 400 grassroots people in this room today, right? So why would you want to compete with that and remove an entire voting block from being able to attend your event?
I Are you sure you're not endorsing President Trump?
I am not endorsing our event, right? And we, like I said, we would love to do an event with Governor DeSantis. We welcome all the candidates. And it was just unfortunate that they chose, we were set up well in advance. It was well publicized that we were doing this event. And I really think it hurt him, his campaign hurt him by not allowing this block of voters to also be able to see him at some point. And we as an organization, we bought tables for the New Hampshire GOP event that had Governor DeSantis there, spoke there. So we are supporting all of the Republican candidates.
And there was some breaking news this morning. William Hurd actually announced that he's running for president. He's actually doing an event in northern New Hampshire as well. I'm not sure if you were aware of that.
And Nikki Haley's doing one in the state tonight. William Hurd's a great guy. I have sat down with him and met him a couple of times. We have such a diverse group of Republicans running for president this time around. It's really exciting to watch. And they all bring something special to the table. And, you know, whoever ends up shaking out as our presidential candidate, look at the vice presidents that we have also available on this slate. It's going to be a really exciting year for Republicans. I'm excited to get Republicans elected on all levels of government, and we really need to take over the White House again because American families cannot afford to have 4 more years of Biden.
Victoria Sullivan, thank you so much for chatting with us here on Right Side Broadcasting. Thank you so much. And of course, we're hoping that no deep state rhinos make it to the White House or any Democrat left lunatics, as the president would call them, would make it to the White House in 24 as well. Hey, I'm just spitting it how it is, guys. I'm being real. When I worked in the mainstream media for so long, you couldn't say how you felt or thought because you'd get let go. Well, I left them, and I said, enough of this, left on good terms, and I'm so glad to be on the right side of things here with Right Side Broadcasting Network. Now, here's today's order of events. The president will arrive around 11. He will have a private meet and greet with a number of constituents and supporters. We're told the program will start promptly at 11:40 this morning. The first speaker will be Elizabeth Girard. She's the president of the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. Following that will be the rock star Karoline Leavitt, the spokeswoman for the MAGA movement and the campaign. The final speaker before President Trump takes the stage will be Eileen Sobczak. She's the president of the National Federation of Republican Women. We'll also be hearing from her at 11 a.m. Eastern Time right here on Right Side Broadcasting. Once again, I'm Matthew Alvarez. You can follow me on Truth Social at Matthew Alvarez. Obviously, follow Right Side Broadcasting. RSBN is pushing 700,000 followers on that great site right there on Truth Social. You can watch us on the app. You can watch us on Rumble. Live coverage, of course, everywhere President Trump goes, whether it's Carrie Lake or others out there doing great things. Carrie Lake, Mike Lindell, these MTG, these kind of people, getting attacks from the left on a constant basis. But why are they getting attacked so much? Why are they getting so much hate? Why does the left hate the truth? Well, we know that at the end of the day, it's rooted in good and evil, and we're going to win this thing in the end through Jesus Christ. We know that, but we have to win all the way until then as well, as much as we can. So hopefully it'll be an encouraging day for all of you out there as the president arrives here in New Hampshire. He's got a great thing coming up, of course, in South Carolina for July 1st. Right Side Broadcasting will have full coverage of a Independence Day rally out of Pickens, South Carolina. That will be quite exciting. Right Side Broadcasting will also most likely, I'm not sure if the details came out yet, but most likely in Philadelphia for a Bob's for Liberty event coming up. So there's just a lot going on with the president, of course, and we're looking forward to seeing some more rallies as well. Now, speaking of the president, he started his day out like most days. He posts something on Truth Social, right? Before I get to that post, I want to read you a post that he said maybe, I think about a week ago. If you go on Truth and just scroll down a little bit, he said the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists are all working hard on interfering with our 2024 presidential election. We won't let that happen. Make America great again. All in caps, and that's the truth right there. People are coming against the free world. It's the globalists, the deep state, the media, the big tech, all of that. As we know, we're preaching to the choir right now. are coming against the things of God, coming against the things of Jesus, coming against our country, coming against our Constitution. And you might see me a little bit fired up about this. It's because I've been holding on to this information, the stuff that I believe, right, and many of you do too, for many years behind the microphone of the mainstream media. I've worked in New York City, Nashville, Columbus, Ohio, Grand Junction, Colorado, and my home state in Pennsylvania. And I, nothing against the actual people that work there, but I'm against the content that they kept pushing. Anti-God, anti-Constitution, anti-Trump. Come on now. We're going for the truth here, and that's why I'm working here with Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's get to that next Truth Social post. Once again, if you get on Truth Social, go ahead and follow at Matthew Alvarez or at Right Side Broadcasting Network. And obviously, there's also a newsletter for Right Side Broadcasting that you can subscribe to and get some more information on that. Some great writers behind the scenes at Right Side as well, posting some amazing stories that President Trump will re-truth and show the world. Obviously, we know that the country and President Trump is the leader of the free world. So the globalists and those that hate the freedom and hate the truth are obviously trying to knock down Trump. They're just trying to throw these false indictments and accusations against him. And, he's going to overcome that. Just like with God, all things are possible. He's going to overcome it. We're going to overcome it. And this great land will be for the Constitution, for freedom, for truth, for the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the entire Constitution. So let's get right to it. President, this morning, 6:45 in the morning, I was just getting up, looked at my phone, and it said, could somebody please explain to the deranged, Trump-hating Jack Smith, his family, and his friends that as President of the United States, I come under the Presidential Records Act, as affirmed by the Clinton Sox case, not by this psycho's fantasy of the never-used-before Espionage Act of 1917. This is President Trump on Truth Social. Smith should be looking at crooked Joe Biden and all of the crimes that he has perpetrated on the American public, including the millions and millions of dollars he extorted from foreign countries, end quote. And once again, of course, he's under attack a lot. So let's take a quick break here and take a look at the room once again as people will hopefully soon file into this luncheon. This is the 76th Annual Lilac Luncheon from Concord, New Hampshire. And we will have a number of people here, about 400 constituents will be here seeing the president speak around 12:30. 12:55, you know how it is. He arrives on Trump Force One, gets over to this area with the motorcade. An empty room right now, but the salads, they're looking pretty good on the table, I have to admit. But they have a barrier here, so I can't get over to those. But anyway, so Karoline Leavitt will be with us at 11:30, and then the president of the National Federation of Republican Women will join us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go to a ad from one of our sponsors right now with Blackout Coffee. So are you tired of the same old monotonous liberal flavored coffee brands? Stop giving your money to woke companies that don't care about you. Go with a coffee option that aligns with your conservative values, and my friends, that's Blackout Coffee. It's not enough to simply taste great. You want to be proud to support the company knowing they align with your conservative values, and that's why I'm telling you to give them a try, because that's why I'm proud to personally recommend Blackout Coffee. This is a coffee company that is 100% committed to conservative values, from sourcing the beans to roasting process, customer support or shipping. They've got an incredible work ethic and are dedicated to promoting conservative principles and accept no compromise on taste or quality. So do me a favor, check out blackoutcoffee.com/RSBN and use coupon code RSBN for 20% off your first order. You could ditch the other guys and go for Blackout Coffee. It remains true to your values. That's blackoutcoffee.com/RSBN, or use coupon code RSBN for 20% off your first order. So it's 10:50 here on the East Coast. We are Right Side Broadcasting, going live right now. And I think that a number of people that I've ran into over the past few weeks. I was in North Carolina with Vanessa Broussard for a dinner there, and just got back from a honeymoon in San Diego. Hello to my new wife, Jenna. And the people, the Patriots in San Diego, the Patriots in North Carolina, the Patriots in Pennsylvania, a number of them, to be honest, have a discouraged kind of look. And then I talked to them, and they're saying, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. How's 2024 going to work out? Is it going to be stolen again? Or is the Biden administration going to continue to do what it's doing? Are we going to lose our country? And, you know, I'm working to spin things positive as much as possible, because you have to, right? I don't want to go down into that thought of, oh, no, what's going to happen? I want to spin it positive and say, well, we're going to win. Or not being in denial, just being like, hey, we're going to win, but also be encouraged, because, again, you bring in the faith with this. You bring in that with God, all things are possible. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people, you know, especially liberals, they say, you know, don't mix in politics and religion. Well, right now, like I said in North Carolina, it's time to bring in politics and religion, because that's what this is all about. The truth of the matter is that it is, again, good versus evil, and we need to be encouraged. So there's a number of scriptures out there, of course, that are encouraging. One of them I could think about is as basically, be not troubled. Let your heart not be troubled. Or be courageous, for I am with you. I mean, these are different excerpts from the Bible to understand that God is seeing what's happening in this country. He understands that this is a Christian nation. He understands that there's other Christian countries out there as well, and these are freedom-fighting patriots, whether you're of the United States of America or any country on earth. That is what it's all about, right? We're all believers in freedom, and we don't want the deep state or globalists to try and take it down. So that's what the fight's all about. That's what we're doing. It's great to see so many conservative media outlets that are coming together. I know that there's the business aspect. You have to compete within the business framework. I get that. But at the end of the day, to have the truth being told by a number of conservative media personalities, and of course right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, as you guys know, the OG when it comes to conservative media, 2015, going to all of the Trump rallies and simply showing the crowd and hearing the president speak from start to finish. And they're still doing it to this day, right here in 2023, and will continue to do so. A number of other people that we will talk to later today. Again, Elizabeth Girard is the president of the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. She said she's running around a lot out there. Of course, the president on the way for a meet and greet. She said if she has time, she can stop by. And then also Eileen Sobczak, the president of the National Federation of Republican Women. And once again, Karoline Leavitt at 11:30. So the real deal. I was thinking about this the other day. The real deal is President Trump. The real deal is Jesus, right? We want the real deal when it comes to media, business, politics, faith. I think the bar has been set now that President Trump unveiled all of the dirtiness going on when it comes to the swamp. I saw a great post from Kari Lake yesterday. She was flying, and there was a huge ground stop yesterday because there was weather in Boston. I was flying from a connecting flight from Charlotte up. My cameraman, Will, he was flying from Atlanta up. And Kari posted something right when we were going up in the air as well, and she said, "Bye, swamp." And that's pretty much all she put on that truth. She had a photo of the D.C. area because she was in D.C. for that Faith and Freedom Coalition, just saying bye to the swamp. I mean, at the end of the day, we know that there's more swamp creatures out there. Do you guys need to pass by? I got a few media outlets that just want to pass by, so I'm letting them do that. So once again, on Truth Social, that's what a great name, because obviously a lot of truth on there. And it's great to have a community of believers and people in freedom, for the country that are on there, that we can all connect in that kind of community throughout the world, not only the United States of America. I was thinking about this as well. The traditional news media, they like to glorify sin. Every time when I was working in mainstream media, the news stories would lead with the doom and gloom, right? There was a saying that they said, it's a terrible thing. They said, if it bleeds, it leads. And to be honest with you, that's pretty terrible. And of course, the media would want to highlight the sin and the terrible stuff going on in the world. Get away from positivity. Get away from faith. all that kind of stuff. And it's so good to know that there's this uprising of conservative media that will say, no, let's cover the positive things. Let's talk about what is going to happen in a good direction instead of fall to the wayside of the legacy media and what they've been talking about for years. Nothing was pro-God or pro-life or anything good working in the mainstream media. So again, I'm preaching to the choir because I think right now everybody's becoming more and more awake that the country is in a situation that we just don't want any more fake news, or we don't want any more fake things happening, including the fake election of 2020. And I'll call it out, the fake President Biden. I can't even call the guy the president. He is a fake, fake whatever you want to call him. He's not the president, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, he's in the Oval Office because of a stolen election. I just thought about how CNN, our good old friends at CNN, with Caitlin Collins, what a lovely, lovely girl. My point is, the way she acted towards President Trump, and I would love, if she wants to debate, we'll debate together, we'll talk. I mean, she is a colleague in the media, that's okay from that perspective, but the content, man, she was just, hating on Trump, but not just hating on Trump. She has something brainwashed, I think, about her and others that are liberal. They're just brainwashed or they're evil. They don't want the truth. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's biblical. There's children of the light and children of the darkness. And some will love the light and some will love the darkness. And if I'm rubbing the feathers the wrong way right now, it is what it is. I'm done. I took the mask off of the mainstream media in August of 2022. And I said, you know what? Enough of that. And I'm going all out. I'm going to use all the gifts and talents that God has given me for his glory, for this country, for freedom, and for the truth. So that's what I'm doing. And you know what? I think I'm wondering if I'm converting anybody here. I'm just being honest. Anyway, so it's been quite the day already because we woke up around 6:45. I saw, again, the president saying that on Truth Social, just talking about Jack Smith. He'll be here around 12 to do the speech, but he'll be here earlier for a meet and greet. So once again, let's take a live pan of the stage here in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the capital of the great state of New Hampshire. This is the Granite State, live free or die. And we'll be having, hopefully a few people will be arriving here in a little bit to arrive in the area for some interviews. And we have at 11 o'clock, that's in 2 minutes, we're looking to get the president of the National Federation of Republican Women to speak with us about today's Lilac Luncheon. This is the 76th annual. People probably will be filing in here in a few minutes. And this is, of course, wall-to-wall coverage live right here on Right Side Broadcasting. You can follow us on Truth Social, on Rumble as well, and you can download the app as well. Tell a lot of people about today's event, and also coming up in South Carolina on July 1st, the Independence Day rally for President Trump and the country will happen at that time. So let's get to our next sponsor. We're going to go to something pretty fun right here. We're going to talk about, for those of you that like memorabilia or the bobbleheads, I'll be back. That's right. He'll be back, and we will all be back. It's time, friends, to celebrate the great return by clicking on the link below and getting your very own Trumpinator 2024 bobblehead in preparation for Donald Trump's glorious reascendance to the United States presidency. I mean, look at this, my friends. We've got mine, and I absolutely love it because the collectible bobblehead is from Proud Patriots. It's made with the highest quality material and really is a must-have for any Trump fan who wants to send some energy towards what is shaping up to be the most glorious political comeback in history. Now, don't wait. There's just a limited number of these collectibles, and you don't want to be caught paying way more later on eBay when someone else bought it now. So whatever you do, don't wait. Click on that link below right now or text Trump to 7030. So 70301. Show your support for Trump 2024 today. Back here live in Concord, New Hampshire. Live coverage from the New Hampshire Lilac Luncheon. Obviously, no one here yet. The lunch is not out yet, but they will be here very soon. if you go on Truth Social, there are a number of things that people are saying on there on a constant basis when it comes to these indictments that are coming against the president. Again, I believe that he'll overcome all of that, and it's yet just another try to hoax, another hoax attack. It happened so many times with the Russia, with Ukraine, with a phone call to Georgia. All he was doing was calling and saying, hey, are there some more votes? What's going on down there? There were a lot more votes, actually. There were millions more votes. There were hundreds of thousands of more votes throughout the country. Go ahead, sir. If you look at even 2,000 Mules, just has video evidence of people stuffing the ballot boxes. You've got all of these spikes in the middle of the night going for Biden or turning from Trump to Biden. By the hundreds of thousands of people that would show up to Trump rallies that are supporters of the president and this country. It's not just, here's the thing, it's not just President Trump. It's the truth that he stands for. He stands for freedom. He stands for our country. So therefore, we stand for him. He stands for us. And we're in this all together to win this thing in 24, to keep our country, the United States of America, the red, white, and blue, Old Glory, to continue to fly high and strong and free for our great military, for our great citizens, and to continue to do God's work in this country before the ultimate king, Jesus himself, comes back for his kingdom here on earth. Go ahead, sir. A little bit of tight quarters here in Concord, New Hampshire, as we continue live coverage right now, wall-to-wall live. It's interesting. In the mainstream media, we would use a teleprompter, and we'd have a lot of notes, and we'd have a lot of sound bites to throw to. But I'll tell you what, sometimes when you can just go off and share your thoughts about the country and the president like this, it's pretty good. And it's fun to see the president arriving here soon. Also, Karoline Leavitt, again, a rock star for the New Hampshire people and also the country, as she is the spokeswoman for MAGA Inc., the campaign, doing great things on a lot of conservative networks, speaking on behalf of the president. So is Liz Harrington, Dan Scavino doing an awesome job, being able to get those video shots of people and seeing them enjoy the president speaking and the rallies and the sort. So as of right now, still waiting on everyone to show up in here, and also for that interview for 11 a.m. Around 10:30, if you want to scroll back on Rumble, we spoke with Victoria Sullivan. She is the comms director for the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. We spoke with her for about 5 minutes. Prior to that, we interviewed Augusta. She's an elderly lady who is decked out in MAGA gear, who obviously loves President Trump, and showed up here as well. And it was nice to talk to her as well. So the media is filing in right now. There's a number of cameras to our left and to the right, maybe 1, 2, 3, about 7 cameras here. Some local news, we've got some national. I saw a number of networks, but of course we're right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, here on RSBN, on Rumble, on the app, on the website. You're taking a live pan right now, a live look at the room before President Trump arrives here in Concord, New Hampshire, the Capitol. Saw the Capitol building on the way over, a nice gold dome. It's always cool to see the different Capitol buildings throughout the country when we travel. And earlier, this was a post on RSBN, of course, about 6 minutes ago. Victoria Sullivan said American families cannot afford to have 4 more years of Biden. That was Victoria Sullivan interviewing with us right here in New Hampshire. A number of great messages coming from the president when he was in Michigan just recently, talking with the auto manufacturer, some of the workers that were there, talking about, hey, he's like not against somebody getting an electric car, but keeping that out of the government, making people have to drive an electric vehicle. That was one thing I remember what he was saying in Michigan. Then prior to that, he was at the Faith and Freedom Coalition in Washington, D.C., which was an awesome place where Kari Lake was there. A great setup and great live coverage from RSBN there as well. Then prior to that was that North Carolina event that I was at with Vanessa Broussard just a few days before my wedding. So Karoline Leavitt, once again, will be here at 11:30 in the morning. We're told the crowd will be a sold-out crowd here. About 400 people will fill this event space, and it should be a quite awesome event. I'm going to take a look real quick here at some of the president's statements by a number of people about him. President Trump, for 7 years, this is from highlights from the speech in Michigan. For 7 years, you and I have been fighting side by side to rescue our country from evil and from the sinister forces who hate it. Our enemies are waging war on faith and freedom, on science and religion, on history and tradition, on law and democracy, on God Almighty himself. That quote actually from the Freedom and Faith Coalition event that was in Washington, D.C. over the weekend. President Trump also said, I will inform China that they have 48 hours to get any military and spying equipment out of Cuba, or I will drop the hammer and there will be tariffs unlike anything China has seen before. One more quote from the Faith and Freedom Coalition from President Trump. Christians have been under siege under this administration. Never again will federal law enforcement be used to target religious believers. Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country. Amen to that. It would have been great to be at that event with a number of faith leaders throughout the Washington, D.C. area and elsewhere. Let's talk about our next sponsor. Let's go back to Birch Gold, obviously doing great things for the country with Biden in the Oval Office. We've seen inflation surge and deficit spending, and the national debt have hit record highs. So as we take a look once again here at the stage and some of the flags there as we wait for a number of people to show up, it's directly because of President Trump recently warning, quote, our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. So you can text Trump to 989898 for more on Birch Gold. And also, if you'd like, once again, follow us on Truth Social at RSBN, or you can follow me at Matthew Alvarez. I actually got on Truth Social in October of 2022, a little late in the game. A lot of people, of course, got on when it launched in February of 2022, but jumped on, and I'm so glad I did. Not on Twitter, not on Facebook, don't like Twitter or Facebook. Elon Musk showed his cards pretty well with a certain launch of a campaign. But at the end of the day, truth is a place for freedom, a place for faith. So that is always good. Once again, here in Concord, New Hampshire, and we are waiting on a number of people to show up. And we will be right back. We will go to a commercial break here, and we'll join you right on the other side.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and you're watching Right Side Broadcasting Network. I have a new show over there on Rumble that comes out every Tuesday and Friday called Let It Be Heard. What we do is react to videos, we analyze the culture, and we analyze politics from a biblical perspective. I think you're going to enjoy it, so I'll see you over there. God bless.
Right Side Broadcasting is known for panning the crowds, showing the packed arenas, and allowing you to see the truth. We've covered hundreds of rallies, briefings, marches, CPAC, and the historic overturning of Roe v. Wade. Right Side Broadcasting was created in 2015 by our founder, Joe Seals, creating a unique broadcasting experience that allows you to make your own decision rather than force-feeding you an agenda. We don't cut or edit people's words or twist them to fit a particular point of view. We allow our correspondents to be open about their opinions while maintaining journalistic integrity. Right Side Broadcasting wants to continue our legacy with help from people just like you. Your donations and support allow us to continue to be the gold standard in live, unedited event coverage. Help our cause by sharing our broadcasts, subscribing on our social media platforms, and supporting us on our locals community. Your monthly or one-time contributions on our website are crucial in our fight for the truth. Thank you for all of your generous support.
Blackout Coffee. Fresh roasted, bold flavors, serving heroes on the front lines.
Blackout! Blackout Coffee, baby! Blackout Coffee!
From the ingredients we use to the values as a company we have, quality is something Blackout Coffee drinkers expect. But where did it start? Meet John.
Our thought process in the beginning was to make a coffee for all the everyday American that works hard, plays hard, and never stops. We actually started playing around with the beans, and we came up with different types of beans to make a really strong coffee that does not give you the jitters.
My name is Doc, and I am the lead roaster for Blackout Coffee. To me, I've tried all sorts of different coffee, even the smaller independent brands, and Blackout's just different. It tastes different. And I actually came across them while working for a different company, and I could smell the roast going on, and I'm like, I need to try that one. It's not coffee, not to me. It's freedom.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Wow, it's so soft.
Welcome back live here in Concord, New Hampshire. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We're waiting on President Trump. Karoline Leavitt just texted and said she's here, so hopefully we can get her for an interview. I just stepped away during the commercial to go talk to some of the constituents and some of the Trump supporters that are in the other room. Simply went up. I said, "Are you a Trump supporter?" 2 people, they said, yeah. I said, well, come on, do the interview. And they were stopped by a couple people. I'm just reporting what happened here at the Lilac convention. Said they want to contain the people and keep the media over here. So I'm not going to get into maybe why that happened. I would think people have a free right to go on camera anywhere they please, but I do understand the security aspect, but they did allow someone to talk to us earlier. Anyway, regardless, we're hoping to have some more people talk to us here in Concord, New Hampshire. True patriots are here. A number of other people I went up to, I said, "Are you a Trump supporter?" And they said, "Well, we're open-minded." I said, "Okay, thank you." And I just, obviously looking for people that are supporting President Trump. I understand there are other Republican candidates. I understand what's going on. I see the other candidates that are speaking around the country. A number of them today in New Hampshire. Nikki Haley tonight. Ron DeSantis in Hollis, New Hampshire. Only about 15 minutes or 20 minutes southwest of Concord. The Federation of Republican Women here in New Hampshire actually put out a press release saying that they were against, DeSantis doing something like that when they are inviting each of the candidates to an event like this. Will Hurd, I saw him on another network this morning. He announced his candidacy for president. He will also be doing there's an announcement going on right now, but also an event in North New Hampshire. So a lot going on in the Granite State today. Obviously, I'm tiptoeing around here, tap dancing, waiting for some interviews. But at the end of the day, it's still great to do something like this for the country and for truth. Once again, I'm Matthew Alvarez. You can follow me on Truth Social, and you can follow RSBN on Truth Social as well. If you missed any of the interviews that happened today, you can go ahead and just send this link to someone else. and have them watch it, but also you can scrub and go back to the beginning and watch the entire full event right here at Right Side Broadcasting. One thing that we can also talk about is that in 2024, we're hoping, of course, for a free and fair election. That's what Mike Lindell's been working on constantly. That's what Precinct Strategy with Steve Stern has been working on constantly. It's all about having a free and fair election, and also to overcome the indictments that are being thrown President Trump's way. In the meantime, while people like Joe Biden and a number of people on the left have been skipping out and skirting all of these kind of indictments left and right, not even getting anything against them. We know why, because the weaponization of the DOJ and a number of other organizations. Isn't it interesting that there are a number of people, agents throughout the country, police, right, firefighters, that are supporters of President Trump, not supporters of Biden? So when's the last time you saw Joe Biden go around, even in Delaware, and a bunch of firefighters or policemen want to go and shake his hand? Instead, Biden's falling off the bicycle, and then what's happening as well is our country's falling off the deep end because of the left and what they're doing and what the mainstream media is propagating. Go ahead and watch us on Rumble right now, and then on cable TV, go to the other networks and see what they're talking about. Guaranteed they're not talking about the truth of God, of Jesus, of Trump, of winning. It's kind of like, when you unleash, I'm unleashing a little bit right now because it's time to. I got sick of years, decades of people anti-God, anti-Jesus, anti-faith, anti-freedom, anti-life. They're cool with vaxxing and killing people. They're cool with killing babies, right? So it's time for us to stand up. We know we already are doing that, so what do? I think we pray together. I think we work on conservative ministries. We blend conservatism, politics, and faith in the pulpit, in church. That's my opinion. Some might disagree, but I can guarantee you that Jesus and God, who are one, he is on the side of freedom. He's on the side of truth because he is truth. He is freedom. And that's what President Trump's been doing. So I'm going to be a fierce fighter. That's why I'm out here talking like this. And I'm sure the mainstream media right here next to me doesn't like hearing it or doesn't like me for that, but I'm not concerned about that right now because I am going for the truth, as are you who are watching right now. So we are here in Concord, New Hampshire. I'm still waiting on a couple people to do an interview. Let's take another live look real quick as we continue to wait for President Donald J. Trump, the 45th president. And he won in 2020, so he should be the 46th in the White House right now. And hopefully he wins in the 47th time of the president in Washington, D.C. We'll see when he announces. One thing we haven't seen yet is his vice president pick. We're looking forward to seeing what that will be. Don't think that's going to happen today, but we'll see what happens in the near future. We're also looking forward to the president speaking on July 1st. That's in Pickens, South Carolina. That's Right Side Broadcasting. We'll have entire coverage live for the president during that Independence Day speech. So that should be a great event for you to watch, for you to be encouraged. Once again, if you weren't watching about 30 minutes ago, I was talking about how people seem to be a little bit downtrodden or discouraged right now because of what the country is dealing with. But at the end of the day, let's remember this. Jesus of Nazareth wins. We win. Those who are believers in God and are connected to him or working to be connected to him, we win in the end. So the enemy can try and kill, steal, and destroy, but we know, let our hearts not be troubled. Be courageous. Be of good faith. Be of good cheer. Let's work together. Let's pray together. Let's get God in the sense of having him move across this land. Let's have a revival. Let's get this going. I'm not business as usual. If you haven't noticed yet at this broadcast, I'm just not business as usual. The mainstream media, if you go ahead and do that real quick. If you're watching us on Rumble, if you go over to the other networks, just on cable real quick. But if you're watching on your big TV, us right now, maybe save that for later. But my point is, they go business as usual. They distract. They go with all the other stuff that's going on. Nothing for the truth. Nothing for the things of this country. Nothing for the Constitution. Nothing for President Trump. Instead, everything against President Trump. They're trying to knock him out, knock him down. And why? Because he stands for truth. He stands in the way for us as Americans. And that's why I'm a huge fan of him. But if it was someone else, right? It doesn't have to be just him. Yeah, sure, he's got an awesome personality. Sure, he's got great charisma. Sure, he's a bulldog. Sure, he's an alpha male. Sure, he's liked and loved by millions and millions and millions across this country and across the world. But if it was anybody else and they were doing the same thing for truth and for freedom and for the Constitution, obviously we'd be all a supporter of that person as well. I think that's what President Trump's looking for. He's looking for people that are constituents and citizens and other people in his cabinet that are supporters of him and also supporters of the truth and freedom and faith. I mean, I could say that on repeat. I know I've repeated it a couple times, but at the end of the day, that's what this is about. And so it's wonderful to look into this camera and say hi to you guys at home and just say, let's do this for God's glory, and let's do this for the United States of America. And we look forward to hearing President Trump here today. He's going to speak probably for about, he goes for about an hour, hour and a half, and hopefully today maybe he'll go for 2 hours and just entertain the crowd, but also share his policies. That's the thing about President Trump. He's got a 1-2 punch. For those of you that like boxing or the UFC out there, a 1-2 punch, he's got it. He's got the personality, then he knocks you with the policies, or vice versa. And the bar has been set so high by this president that who's at the end of the day, who is like him in the sense of being so real? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the real deal in the White House, in the Oval Office. We're looking for someone that is not going to act like a high-end politician and have some nice, thousands and thousands of dollars, perfect desk and nice leather in their offices and act like they're superstars when at the end of the day, we're their boss. This is we the people. We the people. I almost want to shout it even louder here. It's we the people. We're the boss of them. They act like they're the boss of us, and they aren't. Even President Trump understands that. That's why we all love him so much, because he showed everybody, hey, look how terrible these people are. They're just trying to line their pockets with money. They want the power. They want the control. A lot of them are coming from an evil place. And we're just kind of like, hey, you know what? We don't want any of that in this great nation. And unfortunately, it's bleeding into every fiber of this country and everything from education to healthcare to sports, everywhere, right? Your neighbors, I mean, it's getting to be, again, people are trying to act like, oh, everything's normal, it's all good. They're trying to cover up what's going on. Yeah, because darkness likes to hide. Darkness cowers. Darkness is a coward. But God and Trump and us, we're not cowards. We're courageous because we love God, He loves us, and we want freedom in this great nation. Once again, Matthew Alvarez at Truth Social and at RSBN. Thanks so much for tuning in. The president will be here hopefully within the hour. But before we talk about the president, let's talk about another conservative rock star, Karoline Leavitt, who is the MAGA Incorporated spokeswoman. Karoline, give me a high five.
Good to see you.
I'll tell you what, you are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You've done some great things for our country. Talk to us about the president and how you're feeling right now.
Sure. Well, I'm very excited. We are all very excited to welcome the president back to the Granite State because he's going to win this New Hampshire primary for the third time. There's a lot of enthusiasm behind those doors. People are excited to hear from him. He's been giving, I think, really impressive speeches lately. And more than any other candidate in this Republican primary, he's been rolling out tangible policy solutions to the issues that we are seeing here in New Hampshire and all across this country because of Joe Biden's abysmal, disastrous agenda. Donald Trump's Agenda 47 plan is strong. He wants to bring the death penalty to drug dealers, largest mass deportation operation in American history, banning gender mutilation surgeries, banning men and women's sports. These are solutions that the American people are desperate for right now, and that's why you see Donald Trump is beating everyone else in the field by 40 points right now here in the Granite State and in every state across this country.
And speaking of other candidates, Mr. DeSantis down the road in Hollis, New Hampshire, it's It's kind of like, come on, really?
Yeah, I heard it's a weak crowd and a pretty poor-looking venue. Ron DeSantis continues to drop like a rock here in the first-in-the-nation primary state. I'll tell you why, because I am from this state. He showed up a few times. He talks about Florida, doesn't talk about New Hampshire, doesn't take questions from voters, and snaps at reporters. That's not the New Hampshire way. You got to shake hands, especially if you're a governor from another state. Why are you coming here and not talking about the problems that the people of New Hampshire are facing? Donald Trump has such a deep connection with the Republican base that DeSantis has no chance at trying to take that away from what Donald Trump has done for the people of New Hampshire and securing our border, reinvesting in our domestic energy production, et cetera, et cetera.
At the end of the day, Donald Trump is a real guy. I think that's why everybody really likes him.
It's so true, and I'll be speaking on stage, and that's one of the things I'm going to highlight. The largest difference between Donald Trump and anyone else in this field, but especially Joe Biden right now, right, is that Donald Trump was a billionaire businessman who gave all of that up to fight for the people in this room today. Joe Biden spent a career in public service, became a millionaire by ripping off the people in this room today. That's the major difference, and I think a lot of everyday Americans who don't pay attention to the news so much, they're running their businesses, they're raising their families, but they are starting to realize how corrupt this current administration is, and it is really fearing a lot of people, and people are realizing we need Donald Trump back in that White House.
I was just talking about the seriousness of the situation in our country. I want to hear it from you. Really, what is your thought? How serious is the situation in this nation for our Constitution, for our faith, for freedom, for everything?
It is the most important election in our lifetimes by far. If we have another 4 years of Joe Biden, this wannabe dictator-in-chief, America will cease to exist. We need to vote like our lives in this great nation truly depend on it. We are seeing the weaponization of our Department of Justice against a leading political opponent. These are things you see and hear about in communist regimes such as Cuba and Venezuela, not here in the United States of America. And the truths are starting to be revealed about the greatest political corruption scandal in American history. Joe Biden accepting bribes from foreign nationals, setting up shell companies when he was vice president, selling out every single American citizen and voter. That's what's at stake in this election, is obliterating the deep swamp. Donald Trump talks about that all the time. You never heard about the deep swamp until Donald Trump came onto the political scene, because he's the only candidate that isn't owned by them.
100%, I agree with you. Also, 2020, the Democrat playbook was, hey, let's do these mail-in ballots with this COVID thing. Now the playbook is the indictment thing. I mean, do you see how much they're hating the truth?
They hate the truth. They can't stand the truth. And they can't stand the fact that the American people are backing President Trump, because we see the truth through the lies of CNN and all of the big corporate mainstream media that pushed and propagated the Russia hoax, had Adam Schiff on television every single night. He was lying to the American people. Donald Trump was right. There was never any collusion with Russia. That was a $30 million scheme by the Democrats that we paid for, by the way. The taxpayers, we funded the Russia hoax. And shame on all of the Democrats and all of the hacks in the media who pushed it forward. Donald Trump was right on that. He will be right on this hoax classified documents indictment that Merrick Garland and Joe Biden are hell-bent on, because they want to distract from the real crimes of the corrupt Biden crime family.
And Karoline, can you tell me a little bit about yourself when you started out in this whole thing called politics, right? What were you doing, and then why did you switch over to do what you're doing?
Sure. Well, I started out actually way back when as an intern in Donald Trump's White House in his first administration. I was offered a full-time job, took it. Then I moved over. I, of course, lost my job with the rigged election of 2020. Then I moved over to Capitol Hill for a little bit. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to come back to my home state of New Hampshire and run for office, which I did. We had an enormous victory in our primary last year, a 10-point victory against the establishment. I was outspent, but we were not outworked. We won. Unfortunately, our Democrat congressman is still in D.C. right now, but I am very focused now as the spokeswoman for MAGA Inc. to ensure President Trump gets back in that White House and we can make America great again.
Are there any networks that are the liberal legacy media? Do they contact you? Do they want you on? Do they try and debate you now?
Not yet. We've reached out to a few of them. They haven't put me on, so we'll have to see about that. I don't know why. We're just speaking truth right now. That might be why.
Yeah, exactly. They hate the truth. Finally, can you share with us maybe a story, maybe if you were talking to the president or just around, I mean, his demeanor. He's such a strong individual, as we know. Can you talk to us about his spirit spirit right now, like as he's moving forward, dealing with all of the things that the enemy is throwing his way?
I think it's stronger than ever. I think the past two speeches Donald Trump has given, one at the Faith and Freedom Coalition with voters that are the heart and soul of our nation, as he called them in his speech, and then again in Michigan the following night where he was given the Man of the Decade award. I think his speeches have been on point. You see, he's determined. He knows the stakes, right? The stakes are high. We are either going to succumb to the Biden regime and become a communist nation, or we will reelect that man and make this country safe, prosperous, and free again. I know that's what I want. I know that's what so many Americans want. We all have to do our part to help Donald Trump vote and make sure everyone in our communities gets out to do so too.
This is a courageous thing you're doing. Is it something that you obviously you just believe in? That's why you're doing it.
Of course, 100%. I have never believed more strongly that Donald Trump will win this New Hampshire primary for the third time and be reelected for another 4 years.
A 3-time winning president.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
Karoline Leavitt, thank you so much for joining us here on RSBN.
Thank you.
That was Karoline Leavitt, a conservative rock star here in Concord, New Hampshire. Obviously, you know, we saw her on different networks talking about MAGA and the president and freedom. Very well-spoken person, of course, loving the president and loving freedom. And speaking of great people, right here, great citizens of our United States of America. I believe everybody's a patriot rock star when it comes to freedom and truth and the Constitution. People just filing in right now. I'm told back at the RSBN headquarters in Alabama that President Trump is set to speak around 12:45 Eastern Time, 11:45 Central. And he will be here with a meet and greet, private meet and greet, and then there will be a number of speakers prior to the president, including who you just heard from, Karoline Leavitt, the MAGA Inc. spokeswoman. There will be two people from the Federation of New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women, the president of that organization and the national president Federation of Republican Women will be speaking, and she, Eileen Sobczak, will introduce President Trump when he speaks here at 12:45. Once again, we're in Concord, New Hampshire, and we're looking forward to seeing the president speak with a number of patriots here. We're talking about 400 people, a sold-out crowd. A lot of, obviously, Republicans. There are a lot of MAGA supporters. A number of people were wearing the MAGA hat, and they were saying they were supporters of Donald Trump Jr. I take that back. Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr., of course, too. Why not? And right here is joining me. What's your name?
Kathy Holmes.
Hi, Kathy. So tell us about the buttons you got there.
Well, the original it came from a deplorables convention in Michigan in 2015, and my brother gave me one, and then I destroyed it accidentally, so I made these.
They're very cool. Can I see that real quick? Okay, so let's see if we can zoom in on this one. Well, I don't know what the focus on that. Oh, I can have it. Yeah. Thank you so much. You're gonna make me put it on.
Well, you're on the right side?
Yeah, right side. I hear you. So, but before I let you go, though, what are your thoughts right now about the country?
The country. Well, if there's any hope for it, it would be through Trump.
It's a tough time. I can see you're very emotional about
it. Yeah, but also being a Christian, you've probably heard this a lot. We see the end is coming. So I'm not very good.
Well, you are very good because you're a Christian patriot, and I'm with you on that in faith, because we know at the end Jesus Christ wins.
Yeah, thank you. You know it.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
All right, let's pray real quick. God, we just thank you so much for this patriot here. We ask you in Jesus' name, move by your spirit in this country, Father God. We thank you so much for your love for us, God. We pray for President Trump to win, but we also pray for freedom to stay strong in this great nation. In Jesus' name, amen.
And for his protection.
Yeah.
Thousands of people across the country, at 9 o'clock, their alarm goes off, and we pray for the political prisoners ever since that election was stolen, really, in 2020. And I just want to remember them, those patriots that are political prisoners in America. You'd never believe it, but there they are.
Right, and we're praying for them as well. And your name's Kathy Holmes?
Yeah. This is my button from being the campaign manager for 2 representatives that won. And they told me, get a badge for yourself, and it says, I'm the boss, but I do what they say.
Kathy, thank you so much for the button. Nice to talk with you. And definitely we pray and remember the men and women that are J6 prisoners. We pray in Jesus' name for them to be released. They're falsely imprisoned. They're political prisoners, as the lady just mentioned. Do you want to switch some gears and show you the button that she just gave me? Now, this is Donald Trump's hair up here. It's a little long, but here we go. There's the button that she made, and then there's some of the hair right there. So she's wearing that. I'll put that in my pocket. She said I could have it, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just patriots like that. I mean, she got emotional right away talking about the country, and that's exactly, as you know, what we're dealing with every day. This is what I meant when I was talking before about the discouragement, right? The downtrodden. Some of us are discouraged because of the situation, but at the end of the day, as she mentioned, we still win in the end. So let's have a spiritual revival. Let's pray for God to move in our land, move around the world. Let's save this great land and let the enemy just be taken away from the situation through prayer, through the power of God, and through conservative business and conservative media uprising to a new level. Let's take a live look real quick again right here at the Lilac Luncheon. This is a 76th annual Lilac Luncheon here in Concord, New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women are holding this event. So that will start here in the next few moments. People are enjoying salad at this point. I'm not sure what's on the menu. I'll try and find out here in a little bit. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it's always, I don't know, beef or chicken, right? So the president will speak once again in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. But before that, the program will start in about 3 minutes. If they're on time, 11:40 a.m. is when the program is expected to start. There will be a prayer, then the Pledge of Allegiance, then the Federation recognition. And then from there, it'll be 3 speakers before President Trump. The first one will be, I want to make sure I get this correct here. The first one will be not Eileen Sobchak. She will be speaking right before President Trump. I think it's Emily is with the Federation here in New Hampshire. She'll be speaking. Actually, Elizabeth, she'll be speaking. And then Karoline Leavitt. And then Eileen will introduce the President of the United States, President Donald Trump, the 45th president, the 46th, because he won and it was stolen, as we all know, except for the ones that deny it. So those are the election deniers. Let's be real. The election deniers are the ones that say that the election was up and up in 2020. Because the election actually, obviously, President Trump won that thing full, fair, and square by millions and millions of votes. We all know it. We saw the circles, right? When Biden would hold those press conferences, there'd be like 6 people there. Now, with President Trump, the rallies with the tens of thousands of people, the supporters in all of the college football stadiums, at the UFC arenas, at the concerts, whenever Trump would show up, the place would go wild because he is, as Donald Trump Jr. said, and as I mentioned months ago, he is the people's president because it's we the people. And that's what the founding fathers wanted. That's what the Constitution's about. It's not about big government overtaking the people. And that's what these few people, can you believe it? It's only a few of these globalist, deep state, left people. They just want to take over this country, and they're connected with the other ones around the world. There's only a few of these people. They act like it's a big megaphone, but it's actually, we have more than they do. Our numbers way outweigh the numbers of the deep state and the globalists out there. So again, hopefully you're encouraged by today's broadcast here at Right Side Broadcasting. I'm Matthew Alvarez. You can follow me on Truth Social. You can follow RSBN at RSBN and others on there. Brian Glenn, of course, Liz Willis, Grace Sedonia, a number of people are available. Vanessa Broussard. Christina, Bob. These are all great patriots, of course, that you guys see all the time out there going live, being courageous to speak with a microphone to the nation and around the world, because Rumble and RSBN can be seen in many nations across this great globe that we have. And we're hoping for more people to join the freedom fight, or the freedom, I would say resistance, but also just in support of great things like freedom and truth. Right now, still a number of people showing up here, about 400. Until the president speaks at 12:45. The prayer will be around 11:40 a.m., so we're getting close to that. Before we go to that, let's take another pan around the crowd. I'd like to tell you about a coffee company that actually is very cool. They're anti-globalist, they're pro-patriotic, patriot, and all about the United States of America. So are you tired of the same old monotonous, liberal flavored coffee brands? Stop giving your money to woke companies that don't care about you, because you can go with a coffee option. It actually aligns with your conservative values, and that's Blackout Coffee. It's not enough to simply say it tastes great. You actually want to be around to support and be proud to support the company, knowing they align with your conservative values, and that's why I'm telling you, you might want to give them a try. I'm proud to personally recommend Blackout Coffee. It's a coffee company that is 100% committed to conservative values, from sourcing the beans to the roasting process, customer support or shipping. They've got an incredible work ethic and are dedicated to promoting conservative principles and accept no compromise on taste or quality. So all you got to do is check out blackoutcoffee.com/RSBN and use coupon code RSBN for 20% off your first order. You could ditch those other guys and go for Blackout Coffee. It remains true to our values. That's blackoutcoffee.com/RSBN, or use coupon code RSBN for 20% off your first order. I want to get back to something we talked about earlier in the broadcast, a post from President Trump this morning on Truth Social. He posted something at 6:45. I was actually on Truth and I saw it come through, and he said, quote, "Could somebody please explain to the deranged, Trump-hating Jack Smith, his family, and his friends that as President of the United States, I come under the Presidential Records Act as affirmed by the Clinton Sox case, not by this psycho's fantasy of the never-used-before Espionage Act of 1970. This is President Trump on Truth Social earlier. Smith should be looking at crooked Joe Biden and all of the crimes that he has perpetrated on the American public, and billions of dollars he extorted." End quote. One more brief Truth Social post that I'd like to share with you. President Trump said the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists are all working hard on interfering with our 2024 presidential election. We won't let that happen. Make America great again. What's wrong with making America great, right? So the people that are coming against that must want control, power, take the money from the people, take the Constitution away. They're taking a sledgehammer to the Constitution. They have been slowly with the deep state for years, until one day in 2016, when President Donald J. Trump stepped into the White House and unveiled and took off the mask of the deep state and of the swamp. And boy, did they realize they were in for it when President Trump took to the Oval Office. And that's why, of course, they're like, you know what? We can't let that happen again. So they stole the election in 2020, and then they're trying to indict him over all these claims, ridiculous stuff, to try and take him out again. But he's an overcomer. So are we. And we're so thankful that you're watching us here on Right Side Broadcasting. The program's about to start at 11:40 this morning. Once again, it'll be a prayer, then the Pledge of Allegiance, then a few speakers, including Karoline Leavitt from New Hampshire. And then the president will speak a little bit after that. And we'll see. I'm pretty sure he'll do a kind of like a fireside chat. Like last time I did not a rally, but a dinner was in North Carolina with Vanessa Broussard, and I was thinking he was going to come out and do more of a rally kind of, cry when it comes to his speech. But he actually just let his hair down, and he did kind of like a fireside chat. So possibly the same thing here at this event, at this lunch. Also want to remind you, on July 1st, It's Saturday, July 1st from Pickens, South Carolina, Right Side Broadcasting Network. We'll have live coverage, wall-to-wall, of the President's Independence Day rally there. So that will be great to see as we get ready to celebrate July 4th, 2023. We will be celebrating again, of course, from 1776. That will start at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time in South Carolina. We'll have a full crew there. Of course, a number of great patriots that do great work will be there and covering that event, interviewing MAGA supporters, interviewing people that just love the truth and love freedom, and then hearing from the president. That will be one of the larger events, I believe, since a number of weeks from now, a number of weeks prior, because as you've seen, the president is doing some smaller events, but I'm sure he'll get back to the rally stage, and I believe that South Carolina one is going to be quite awesome. You know, it's great because the encouragement that happens every time there's a rally is awesome. Mike Lindell, I remember talking to him at one in Robstown, Texas. And he said, you know, this is what drives him, he said, these rallies and seeing the American people. You know, everyone loves President Trump. We understand that when it comes to people that are on the right side of things. They obviously love someone like Mike Lindell, Kerry Lake, MTG, a number of people, Matt Gaetz, on and on, Steve Bannon. I mean, we can continue the list of conservative, true conservatives out there. But I will say that Mike was so encouraged because I asked him, and you can actually, on my Truth Social at Matthew Alvarez, if you want to scroll down a few months back, there's a video that he retruth that I think is absolutely awesome. It came together so well. And it's just an awesome video because there was music, and the music was perfect while he was walking around shaking hands of people of all backgrounds, of all walks of life, and they were thanking Mike Lindell. Now, why are they thanking Mike? I thought they were there for President Trump, right? Well, because at the end of the day, we know that we're just for people that are standing up in the gap, standing up, being courageous for our country, for the Constitution, and for our great land. So once again, we are here live in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the capital of the great state of New Hampshire. And this is just about a few minutes, 20 minutes drive north of Manchester and about an hour and 20 minutes north of Boston Logan International Airport, where actually photographer Will and he was flying from Atlanta. I was connecting through Charlotte. And if any of you were flying yesterday, there was a ground stop for about 2 hours. So we're on the tarmac for about 2 hours before we were able to take off. But you know what? Being stranded on a plane for a couple hours to come up here to New Hampshire to talk about President Trump, to talk about freedom, to use these gifts and talents instead of for the mainstream. Mainstream media is so boring, by the way. The cable news, local news, I'm sorry, guys, it's boring. Nobody's watching it as much anymore. It's all trying to still, tap dance for Biden and tap dance for the globalists. People are not watching. Why? Because the people like truth. The people don't want to shop at a place like Target or Starbucks or these other companies or drink Bud Light. I'm not going to get too far into the weeds on that one, but you know what I'm saying. They're just sick of the things that are going woke. You go woke, you go broke, right? So I hope that the companies are understanding that if you do that, you're going to lose more than 50% of your bottom line. And if you do what you did, sorry, Bed Bath & Beyond, but Mike Lindell, you stopped selling his pillows, look what happened to you there. So anyway, I'm into truth. I hope you are too. Thanks so much for watching again. Let's take a live look right here at the Lilac Luncheon. This is the 76th Lilac Luncheon here in Concord, New Hampshire. President Trump expected to speak around 12:45. There will be a few speakers once again before that. For those of you that have watched since 10:30 this morning, thank you so much for staying with us for all of this coverage. I know it's only been an hour and 20 minutes, but if you're just joining us right now, this is Right Side Broadcasting, or watching most likely on Rumble or the Right Side Broadcasting app or on the website, and you're waiting to hear President Trump speak here in Concord, New Hampshire. His next event will be in Philadelphia at the Moms for Liberty. It's coming up, I believe it's June 29th, through the 31st, possibly. We can say also that he will be speaking, of course, on July 1st at the South Carolina rally. So it's 11:49 right now here in Concord, New Hampshire, and we are waiting for the president to arrive. He's most likely here at this point doing a private meet and greet, and I'm going to see if I can try and get a couple patriots to talk with here. Just hold on one second. And I'll chat with someone right here down at this table, table 36. What's your name? Dawn. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, is this your first time at the Lilac Luncheon?
It is, yes.
Your thoughts about seeing the president?
Really excited. Really excited to see him, what he has to say about everything going on. Looking forward to 2024 for sure.
What are some of the problems you see in this country or even in this state?
Well, definitely the price of housing is kind of out of control as far as real estate and even rentals. These young families, they're having a hard time starting out, just feeding their families, paying their electric bills. That's nearly doubled over the past couple of years. It's really hard on young families.
What industry are you in?
I'm a realtor.
Okay, awesome. So at the end of the day, the inflation and the prices of everything going so sky high under the Biden administration. So are you hoping, obviously, for Trump to win in 24? But your thoughts, though, if it's stolen again, what do you think you'll do? I mean, have you thought about that?
I think about it all the time. Unfortunately, it's for me. I'm Trump only. That's it. I think he needs to come back and finish what he started. But I'm very, very concerned about the election being stolen again. And I don't know what we would do at that point. I don't think the American people can afford that.
Right, and then all the indictments being thrown his way, it just seems like it's another thing in the playbook.
That's right. I mean, you can just go back to 2015 and just watch, everything that they try to do to him. And then people seem to forget that every time they throw something at him, it's debunked, and then they just bring up something else. But it just seems to be the way it is.
Can you talk to us about, family and friends and that kind of thing?
Really prefer not doing interviews.
I guess someone said they would prefer everybody to not do interviews, but at the end of the day, it's a free country. So so we're going to stay here real quick for one more second. I don't know why anybody would stop us from talking here, to be honest.
I don't know either. That's very unusual.
I think what they were saying before is they're not trying to come out and say they're going for any specific candidate, that kind of thing. So anyway, the last thing I wanted to ask you was your family and friends and that kind of thing. I mean, is it a topic of conversation all the time? Isn't it interesting, like politics and religion used to be something we don't really talk about? At least I still talked about it, but now everybody talks about it.
Right, you weren't supposed to talk about it. Right. But now everybody does. That's right.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Yeah, once again, here in Concord, New Hampshire, waiting for a number of speakers to start, and also the program to start at 11:40. I'm told there will be a prayer, then Pledge of Allegiance, and then also a recognition of the Federation of Republican Women will happen. And then there will be 3 speakers. It will be the president of the local New Hampshire chapter. Then after that, it will be Karoline Leavitt, the MAGA spokesperson. And then the third person after that will be the national chapter of the Federation of Republican Women. Eileen Sobjak will speak. And then she will introduce President Donald Trump here in Concord, New Hampshire. Why don't we take a look at another sponsor right now as we take a look at the crowd. Let's have fun with this one. Let's talk about being back. The Trumpinator sponsorship is quite awesome because if you are a memorabilia collector, this is something that you might want to have in your repertoire. It's being back is always going to be good for President Trump. It's time, friends, to celebrate the great return by clicking on the link below and getting your very own Trumpinator 2024 bobblehead in preparation for Donald Trump's reascendance to the United States presidency. I mean, look at this, my friends. I've got mine, and I absolutely love it because collectible bobbleheads are from proud patriots. They're made with the highest quality material and really is a must-have for any Trump fan who wants to send some energy towards what is shaping up to be the most glorious political comeback in history. Don't wait. There's just a limited number of these collectibles, and you don't want to be caught paying way more later on eBay when someone else bought it. So all you have to do is text Trump to 70301 to show your support for President Trump 2024 today. That's 7030. How you doing, sir?
Where's Liz, man?
I know. Hey, Liz is probably in Georgia right now, but she's a great correspondent and a rock star, of course, for RSBN because she was there at the beginning, and now we're in 2023. Your thoughts about the president?
You know, obviously everybody knows I love President Trump, and we're very excited to have him back in New Hampshire today, over here, and at our opening of our headquarters for the Trump campaign. It's going to be good times over there, and we obviously love it when Right Side comes to New Hampshire. We don't really watch the fake news up here. We love you guys.
Well, thank you. We love you for doing that because the fake news is right here next to us, and I'm sure they were not so happy hearing some of the things I was saying, but who cares, right?
You know, that's the beauty of our country is we have the freedom of speech, and the thing is, truth is on our side.
And I just heard from my people back home at RSBN, it's Concord instead of Concord, New Hampshire. So talk to us about that event that's later today at headquarters.
Yeah, we've been working real hard down at the headquarters to get ready for Trump's visit. And, you know, we shut down some streets. Going to be lots and lots of people. The president's excited. I'm pretty sure he's pretty excited. It's going to be a good time down in Manchester at our campaign headquarters for this election that we're going to win.
Awesome. If you know any more Trump supporters, if you want to have them come on over, we can do an interview with them right now.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you.
I'm Tim Cahill.
Tim, nice to meet you, man. All right, take care. All right. Waiting once again on Concord for President Trump to arrive. 12:45 will be the speech, and there will be a number of speakers once again prior to that. If you're just tuning in, thanks for tuning in here on Rumble and RSBN to watch live coverage of President Trump's speech. Again, expected to speak at 12:45 Eastern, 11:45 Central. I'm sure he's going to come out swinging like he always does. And it's interesting, sometimes he can do that in a very calm fireside chat way, or he'll come out and go rally style and really deliver a speech to encourage the people. At the end of the day, we know that the country needs that encouragement right now because of all of the terrible things that are happening around this country and around the world for that matter. People are just coming against freedom and the truth. Let's take a live look once again here at the Lilac Luncheon. This is the 76th Lilac Luncheon here in New Hampshire, and awaiting the president and seeing everybody just enjoy their meals right now as we wait for someone else to come on over. How you doing? I'm Matthew Alvarez. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Nikki McCarter from Belmont.
Nikki, yes. You don't want us to talk to her?
These people are here to have lunch.
Would you like to talk to us?
I don't mind talking to you, but if it's against a rule.
We prefer that people not be doing interviews.
Okay. I got you.
Well, disruptive, right? You know, that's the thing.
Sure. Anyway, that's my nature.
Same thing with me when it comes to this, because I'm done with that kind of stuff. I'll be honest. I've worked in the media for a number of years, and people telling you, a free citizen, that you have to sit down.
$50 to come here.
Exactly. Well, then why don't you stand here for a second? Because I mean,
I don't need to get kicked out because my.
That's true. Okay. Well, enjoy your lunch. Could you say one thing about President Trump?
He's the best president we've ever had, and we ever will have.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to ask you not to talk to the people that are in attendance, all right? You can stay back here with everybody else because we just want to make sure everybody has a good time now, okay?
Copy that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And there you go. The words from the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna. I don't press the envelope if someone, like, if there's a sign that says no trespassing, I'm not gonna go past it. If someone says please stop, I'll stop. That's totally fine. It is what it is. But still, at the end of the day, I know the people that are watching right now here on Right Side Broadcasting, you know exactly what's going on. That stuff fires me up. I'll tell you what, it really fires me up when you're in a free nation, a free country, freedom of speech, the First Amendment, and I'm a member of the press. And that was a citizen of this great land who's here for President Trump. And a number of times they tell us to not interview somebody. Really? Are we? Is this a blue state? Yeah. Is this CNN? Anyway, let's get back to the good stuff. President Trump on his way. I'm sure will encourage the people here. And I'm sure maybe I won't be invited back to the luncheon. It is what it is. Anyway, enough of that. But this is Right Side Broadcasting. We are live here along with a number of mainstream media. I don't see any conservative media here. There might be some, so a shout out to those that are here that are on the right side of things as well. We love the truth, and we hold near to it, and the truth sets us free. Thanks be to God. Thanks to Jesus for that. And yeah, we love the president. So he'll be here again, 12:45 to speak. You heard it right here live. We can't do any more interviews with anybody, but it was nice to still speak with a few people. It was nice to speak with Karoline Leavitt back here, obviously the MAGA spokesperson, press person for Right Side, or for MAGA, but also here with us on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Once again, a little bit about myself. You might be wondering, who's this Matt Alvarez guy? Well, first, you can follow me on Truth Social at Matthew Alvarez. I started back in 2005. I was an intern at Fox News Channel in Washington, D.C. I met Brit Hume, I met Bret Baier, met a number of these people. And then I was able to go to the Pentagon, the White House. I saw George W. Bush and Tony Blair in the East Room of the White House. With Scott McClellan, the press secretary in the Brady press briefing room. Met Donald Rumsfeld when Bret Baier was a Pentagon correspondent. Then, again, I met George W. Bush as well at a rally. You know, you think back in the day that Fox News and these other networks were conservative, right? Well, I didn't know then that was deep state. I didn't know that George W. Bush was part of the deep state, skull and crossbones, all that Yale stuff, you know? I didn't know. I'm glad I do now. And so that was early on in the career. Then I went to local news, worked in Grand Junction, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, New York City, Nashville, in Pennsylvania. And in August of 2022, I parted ways with my last employer, and I contacted RSBN. It was interesting because RSBN is somebody I thought about while I was still anchoring at the previous station. And I was almost saying, you know what, maybe I should just call them now and get out of there. But anyway, it still happened, right? Contacted RSBN, and here we are in June of 2023 with Right Side Broadcasting. I've worked at a number of conservative outlets, but at the end of the day, doing this for God, for the country, for you out here. I'm nothing different than you are as a citizen of this great land. I'm just out here with a microphone. I love the truth. I love Jesus. I know you do too. Let's win this thing in 2024 and do the best we can in our lives from now until Jesus comes back and rules and reigns over the entire earth. Anyway, let's take another live look here at the MAGA event in the sense of the 76th Annual Lilac Luncheon. Now, I did see something out there. I see some orange juice with champagne. There are MAGA mimosas on sale for $9, just in case anybody at home was wondering. MAGA mimosas. Anyway, so the event, I was told, was to start at 11:40 a.m. It is now 12:03. Of course, things can be delayed as they sometimes are. That's totally fine. We will roll with the punches here as everyone is getting served their meals. We're talking about 400 most likely registered Republicans. I mean, it is a Republican event. There's a really cool hat that I see here to the right. It says, "I love Trump," and it's a white hat. Anyway, we could take a look at that later, but ma'am, can I see your hat real quick? Can you sit right there? Or just take a look. There she is. I can't interview her according to the Lilac people, but we could still show hats. Anyway. So after this, the president will actually be heading to Manchester. That's actually where the hotel is we're staying. And he'll have an event there with the headquarters, the Republican headquarters in Manchester, right after he's done speaking here. So the motorcade will continue on down to Manchester. And then we'll be leaving back from Boston tomorrow. But until then, we're still waiting to hear some of the key points that the president will bring to the table. His 47 agenda, his policies on education, on health care, on going woke, going broke, right? A number of items he'll be sharing on immigration. Isn't that funny? That other candidates were down in Eagle Pass, Texas, when President Trump's job was building the wall, and he couldn't finish that job because he got it stolen from him, the election, of course. And so now other candidates are going down there being like, hey, I'm going to finish the wall. Hey, that's interesting. That candidate, Mr. DeSantis, will be down in Hollis, New Hampshire, having his own event about 20 minutes from here. Nikki Haley will have an event tonight in New Hampshire. Will Hurd, who I saw this morning on one of the networks, announced his candidacy for president. He's holding an event in the northern part of New Hampshire. So the Granite State is a political hotbed today, here on a random Tuesday, June 27th, 2023, for a number of Republican political candidates for the race to 2024. And speaking of the race to 2024, for those of you that are a nerd out there, I'm kind of a nerd here and there, I asked Siri the other day, I said, hey Siri, how many days until November 5th, 2024? And she said 497. 497 days until we vote for the next president of the United States of America. And then, of course, January 20th, 2025, hoping that President Trump will be inaugurated and that this whole thing can be turned upside down of all of the evil work that's being done by the globalists and the deep state. I'll tell you what, the food here is starting to smell really, really good. Let's take a look at some of the food. Why not, right? We've got, looks like beef and potatoes. Oh, there's a good shot there here to your right then, Will. She's showing it to us. Thank you so much. So that's, yeah, she says it smells good. So that's what's being served at the Lilac Lunch as we wait for the program to start. It's supposed to start at 11:40. Obviously, it's a little bit later than that at this point. But once again, we'll start with a prayer, then the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll go from there. The president is expected to speak around 12:45. We'll see if that happens. I don't think the remarks will be too long from the speakers. I am looking forward to hearing from Karoline Leavitt because she is MAGA Incorporated spokeswoman. She also, when she's on various networks, does such a great job, explaining to the American people and to those networks the things that President Trump is trying to do when he's back in the White House as the 47th president. And she just comes from a good place of conservatism and values and Christianity. It's pretty awesome to see that. And hopefully there's more people like her that are younger that are rising up to be in politics, but not the typical politician kind of thing. We got used to the George W. Bushes of the world, where it's this political kind of, I'm a president and I should be stuffy and all that. Well, then Donald Trump shows up and he's like, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to rip the mainstream media a new one. He did that. He drained a lot of the swamp, and he showed really what's going on out there. And so the bar has been set. And so that's why, of course, we want President Trump back in. That's why we like Carrie Lake, Mike Lindell, MTG, Matt Gaetz, and I listed those people, of course, before, Steve Bannon. And I can list Charlie Kirk, the whole list. We all know the list, right? If you want to know who I'm into, follow me on at Matthew Alvarez on Truth Social. The people I'm following there, and there's other people that I'm not following yet that I'm sure I will, because I'm a person that's about the conservative movement, right? Us teaming up to do this for this great country. And I'm very happy to be a part of Right Side Broadcasting, working here today because of the authentic fact that they love the country, they love freedom, they love the Constitution, they love President Trump, and so do tens of millions. As President Trump said the other day, actually he said about 200 million people in this country, 200 million. And then think about the millions and millions of people in Brazil, in Italy, in Hungary, right? Bolsonaro, the former president in Brazil, who got that election stolen from him, right? The Christians and the people there. The prime minister in Italy, the prime minister in Hungary. These are conservative freedom fighters. So we're not in this alone here in the United States. We just happen to be the leader of the free world. Go ahead, sir. And I believe that President Trump is still the leader of the free world. I really believe that. There's nobody that's the leader of the free world. President Trump is the only one right now. But he's got a number of supporters behind him. He's got we the people. And the people outnumber that small number of globalists and deep state. So that's pretty awesome that we're on that team with him. So it would be great to see him speak here. It would be great to, yet again, hear his speech. But it's interesting because he knows the news cycle. He goes with what's going on in the news cycle. Obviously, he's part of the 24/7 news cycle. The left-wing media, they can't get enough of this guy, right? They can't get enough of President Trump. They always want to talk about, even CNN this morning, I was flipping through the cable stations, was talking about Ron DeSantis a little bit. And, it's, again, I'm not going to get into the back and forth on the Republican ticket. I just know that we've seen what President Trump has done. We see what he stands for. So therefore, we understand that we can trust someone like him. So it's great for other people. Tudor Dixon in Michigan was right here, of course, on Right Side Broadcasting the other day, being interviewed at an event there where President Trump was at. So it was really awesome that she is doing what she can. Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania. And I once again want to talk about precinctstrategy.com. Steve Stern and a number of other people are doing a great thing on there. They're really trying to get the elections to be free and fair and free elections. Mike Lindell showed up on some of their Zoom meetings. I've actually been on these Zoom meetings on a monthly basis with that precinct strategy. And it's people from all around the country that are on these calls for the election. Committee men, committee women, precinct, poll watching, everything that you can do to keep an eagle eye, hawkeye watch on the upcoming 2024 election. We know that the Democrats' playbook was to, do the mail-in ballots and then to rig the election. That's the playbook. We get it. And now we know the other playbook play now is the indictments that they're throwing at President Trump. But President Trump, I believe, will overcome them, just as he's overcome all of the other hoaxes that have happened. The truth is in the light, right? So the truth's going to be the darkness, or the things that are going wrong, the false things that are happening, will be exposed by the truth. So thank God for people like OMG over at, with James O'Keefe doing great things as well. I mean, people are really working on this thing. We're teaming up together in a united front and faith for our country, and it's pretty awesome stuff. You are watching Rumble and Right Side Broadcasting, and also if you're watching on the app or on the website, thanks so much for joining us. We started our coverage at 10:30 here in New Hampshire. We're in the capital, Concord of New Hampshire, of the great Granite State. Live free or die state here in New Hampshire. I think I said New Hampshire 25 times there, but that's all right. Anyway, let's get another look here live as 400 people enjoy their lunch, waiting for the program to start. We want to also talk about one of our sponsors, our friends over at Birch Gold Group. Obviously a great company there, doing wonderful things for this nation. And with Biden in the Oval Office, we've seen inflation surge and deficit spending and the national debt. They've hit record highs. It's directly because of these challenges that President Trump recently warned, quote, that our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years, end quote. So in direct affront to the dollar's status as global reserve currency, the BRICS group of nations led by China and Russia are rumored to be just 2 months away from launching their own currency. With the dollar seemingly on its last legs, it's more important than ever to take a hard look at moving some of your savings into gold. And you can own gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account with the help of Birch Gold Group. That's right, Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. The best part, you don't have to pay a penny out of pocket. So to get started, Birch Gold is giving away a free info kit on gold, and all you got to do is text the word Trump to 989898. Think about this. When currencies fall, gold is a safe haven. How much more time does the dollar have, especially with BRICS looming ominously overhead? Protect your savings with gold now. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. Text Trump to the number 989898. You can get your free info kit on gold. Again, that's text Trump to 989898. Coming up here in a few minutes, this program will get started. The president is doing a private meet and greet behind stage. And had to get a sip of water there. And he will be expected to speak around 12:45. That might get pushed. We'll see. You know, when you watch coverage on RSBN with some of the rallies, you see sometimes he starts later than 6 o'clock or the 7 o'clock time frame. Obviously, a very busy person dealing with a lot right now, but you know, he's not quitting, and that's one thing I do want to share with you personally about the president. There was, maybe it was a couple months ago, I was getting discouraged about the country and, you know, some other things. And I was like, you know, just got to keep going, right? Well, there was an email that day from the president in the sense of MAGA Incorporated, a press release. And this was the day of his arrest in New York with the arraignment. And in the subject line, it said, "Never lose hope!" exclamation point. And I can honestly say that that day, it was very, very encouraging for me personally. And that's what we have to do. President Trump says it. We all tell each other, never lose hope, never quit, never stop believing, keep on going, right? And so I want to get that email out because there was a quote that he said on the day of his arraignment in New York City. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Might take me a second. But yeah, it was quite an awesome email. Here it is. This was on April 6, 2023. It said, "Never lose hope!" exclamation point from Donald Trump, DonaldJTrump.com. Quote, "With a dark cloud over our beloved country, the president says, I have no doubt, nevertheless, that we will make America great again." President Donald J. Trump, Tuesday, April 4th, 2023, the day of his arrest. That's the email right there, Will, if you want to take a look at the email. So, you know, showing the president there, very encouraging email. And that's the thing. Again, a lot of people are saying it's, you know, business as usual in the sense of just by their actions are speaking louder than their words. Mainstream media, business as usual. Let's just cover this other story. Let's cover that. Let's try and get it back into, you know, a number of other things. But instead, here at Right Side and other outlets, we're going full-on truth. That's what I believe that the American people genuinely want. I believe that's what resonates with the American people is the real deal and truth. So after working in the mainstream media for about 20 years, I kind of realized I'm done holding all that information in. I'm done being concerned in a newsroom if I talked in favor of Jesus or Donald Trump or my faith or freedom, because First Amendment, I have that right, that I would be, ostracized or kicked out, right? But at the end of the day, blessed are those who are persecuted. Now, I'm not saying, I'm trying to get all this persecution, whatever. I'm just saying it's just what I believe. And I happen to have a microphone, and I know thousands of you that are watching right now on Right Side Broadcasting believe the same thing. So I'm with you. We're with each other. President Trump is with us, and a number of other people are on the same team. Once again, I'll just close that up with never lose hope. That's what it said on that email in the subject line, never lose hope. So let's not lose hope. I remember meeting somebody the other day who was concerned about some things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be in New Hampshire on Tuesday. I gave him the RSBN app or the information on Rumble, and I said, go ahead and watch that live coverage, and I hope you'll be encouraged. So if that person's watching, hello to you up in Pennsylvania. and let's just keep doing this. Let's keep going one step at a time and win this thing as we wait for President Donald Trump to show up here in the capital of New Hampshire, Concord, and he will be speaking around 12:45. So it's 12:20. So we'll see what time the program actually starts. Let's take another live look here. I would be interviewing some other people in the area, but I was told by the Federation of Republican Women that they were telling some of the people that they would rather them not interview with anybody in the media, even though we were just, exercising our freedom of the press and freedom of speech, and by talking with them. But anyway, so we're waiting on a number of speakers to show up here. I could say that we can go to one of our sponsors once again before this program gets kicked off. Let's go to the Trumpinator once again real quick. I'll be back. That's right. He'll be back, and we will all be back. It's time to celebrate the great return by clicking on the link below and getting your very own Trumpinator 2024 bobblehead in preparation for Donald Trump's reascendance to the United States presidency. I mean, look at this. I've got mine, and I absolutely love it. It's a collectible bobblehead from Proud Patriots. It's made with the highest quality material and really is a must-have for any Trump fan who wants to send some energy towards what is shaping up to be the most glorious political comeback in history. Now, don't wait. There's just a limited number of these collectibles, and you don't want to be caught paying way more later on eBay. So all I have to do is text Trump to 70301. Had to get a drink of water there, losing my voice a little bit. Some more Patriots showing up here, as you can see to the right, coming through that entranceway. Just when I thought it was a packed house, I guess it might be standing room only here at this event in New Hampshire. President Trump is at a meet and greet at this time. We will see what else. Yeah, he's meeting people right now with the meet and greet, I'm told. There is a truth that President Trump just put out. He says, I built hundreds of miles of border wall, got Mexico to give us free thousands of soldiers to stand guard at our border, and much more, and created the strongest and safest southern border in U.S. history. I will do it again and quickly. Also, I will get the many bad ones out of our country fast. That's from President Donald Trump on Truth Social. Speaking of truth, I'm going to go ahead there right now and see if there's anything else that the president has said within the hour here in New Hampshire as he's headed this way. He's announced his, about an hour ago, he announced a New Hampshire Grassroots leadership team. You could find that information. I'm sure RSBN will have an article about that, but also the Trump campaign has put that article out as well about an hour ago. The president also retruthed something from Mark Levin, a patriot, of course, there. The other thing I wanted to share with you is the amount of information that the president shares. Isn't it cool that he retruths, everyday American citizens on his platform? You know, if he was a stuffy, kind of standoffish guy thinking he was too cool for school, right? He wouldn't do any of that. He gets it. That's why, again, Donald Trump Jr., his son, said he's the people's president. I agree with that 100%. We're looking for the people's president. We want the people's vice president. We want the people's Secretary of Defense. We want the people, DOJ, FBI, CIA, all that stuff. We want the people's leaders in, because we're the leaders. We're the ones that are calling the shots. We have to step up and get our people back into office. We'll do the best we can, of course, with the election. We're hoping for a free and fair election. We're hoping for President Trump to overcome these indictments that are being thrown his way left and right. And one truth that President Trump retruth simply says from Joshua Hooser, we will win. At the end of the day, it's simple. You know, sometimes people try and complicate everything. They try and use all these fancy words all the time on the mainstream media and others. You know, they're just just trying to, say whatever they feel like saying that will get you away from the truth. At the end of the day, sometimes truth is very simple. It's not rocket science, right? I know I'm not the most brilliant person in the world, but I know this. I love God. I love this country. I love the president. I love freedom, right? So that's what we are all for here at Right Side Broadcasting, an awesome network that has free speech on a constant basis, a network that embraces the Constitution of the United States of America. You remember when Joe Biden was standing in Philadelphia? I was born in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, so he's standing in my home state in Philadelphia with the red backdrop. And our great Marines had to be forced. I guarantee you, those Marines probably didn't want to stand behind him while he said that MAGA Republicans and others were like an enemy, right? MAGA Republicans, really? We like truth. We love people. We love God. We just want to live our lives, right? That's insane. But we already know where they're coming from. They're coming from the pit. Let's be real. They're coming from the pit of hell. They're coming from evil. These people that are brainwashed are the people that are evil. They just obviously are trying to take over. But that's what we are dealing with right this second. This is a crucial inflection point for the United States of America, as you know, for our country, for the safety of our country, for the security of our country, for the future of our nation. So as people try and go as business as usual, everybody goes out. I enjoy going out to dinner. I enjoy watching sports. I enjoy those things. But if everybody is just like, oh, it's business as usual on the media and everything in life, it's not. The time is now. Everybody can have a good time. I get that. That makes sense. And hold on one second. Okay, I'm hearing something from back home. Let's just take a look at the stage right now while I take care of some information. Okay, interesting. I will say, okay, we can bring it back, Will. Okay, so back at RSBN, I just want to let you guys know, the producers, I heard something that said you can get off of our system, it said. I'm just telling you that's what I heard. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say it's the IFB system that we just tried to use, but somebody literally just came in and said something in my ear, and that's the only thing that I have open right now. So if I hear it again, I'll probably take the AirPod out. I'm just telling you what happened. So anyway, yeah, it's very strange, but it said, please get off of our system. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying though earlier. At the end of the day, we're just God-loving patriots that are living for freedom for this country. Obviously, whatever that was just threw me off track, but I'm not gonna let it affect me. I'll keep it on. Let's get to some other information from earlier today. I wanted to read you a quote from the president once again that he said just about a week ago, but I think it's a really good one. So let me get to it real quick here, and then I'll take this IFB out. The radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists are all working hard on interfering with our 2024 presidential election. We won't let that happen. Make America great again. Now let's just take that out real quick and come back live here in New Hampshire as we await President Trump to speak. They were saying 12:45, so at this point, don't think that's going to happen because there's a number of things that are going to happen before the president speaks, including a prayer, a pledge, and also we have 3 speakers before the president takes the stage. Let's take another live look real quick, and then we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back right after that commercial break as we take another live look from the capital of New Hampshire here in the Granite State. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and you're watching Right Side Broadcasting Network. I have a new show over there on Rumble that comes out every Tuesday and Friday called Let It Be Heard. What we do is react to videos, we analyze the culture, and we analyze politics from a biblical perspective. I think you're going to enjoy it, so I'll see you over there. God bless.
Right Side Broadcasting is known for panning the crowds, showing the packed arenas, and allowing you to see the truth. We've covered hundreds of rallies, briefings, marches, CPAC, and the historic overturning of Roe v. Wade. Right Side Broadcasting was created in 2015 by our founder, Joe Seals, creating a unique broadcasting experience that allows you to make your own decision rather than force-feeding you an agenda. We don't cut or edit people's words or twist them to fit a particular point of view. We allow our correspondents to be open about their opinions while maintaining journalistic integrity. Right Side Broadcasting wants to continue our legacy with help from people just like you. Your donations and support allow us to continue to be the gold standard in live, unedited event coverage. Help our cause by sharing our broadcasts, subscribing on our social media platforms, and supporting us on our locals community. Your monthly or one-time contributions on our website are crucial in our fight for the truth. Thank you for all of your generous support.
Blackout coffee, fresh roasted, bold flavors, serving heroes on the front lines.
Blackout! Blackout coffee, baby! Blackout coffee!
From the ingredients we use to the values as a company we have, quality is something Blackout coffee drinkers expect. But where did it start? Meet John.
Our thought process in the beginning was to make a coffee for all the everyday American that works hard, plays hard, and never stops. We actually started playing around with the beans, and we came up with different types of beans to make a really strong coffee that does not give you the jitters.
My name is Doc, and I am the lead roaster for Blackout Coffee. To me, I've tried all sorts of different coffee, even the smaller independent brands, and Blackout's just different. It tastes different. And I actually came across them while working for a different company, and I could smell the roast going on, and I'm like, I need to try that one. It's not coffee, not to me. It's freedom.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Welcome back. This is Right Side Broadcasting Network live coverage. Someone is at the podium. Things might be getting started here. I will read a quote from the president when he spoke at the Faith and Freedom Coalition. He said, quote, "We love God. We want to protect the cherished position of believing in God. Religion is something for you to adhere to and believe in. It keeps you sane, keeps you honest, and they want to take that from you," end quote. And of course, nobody's taking our faith from us. We are free in faith. We're free in this country. We hope to continue to be free in this great nation as we await the program to get started, which may be any minute from now. So as soon as that happens, I'll step out of the way. We'll get kick-started here. In New Hampshire, the president will speak after 3 speakers prior to him, including Karoline Leavitt, who, again, I mentioned a few times, an awesome rock star for the conservative movement. Before that, there will be 2 speakers from the Federation of Republican Women here in New Hampshire, and also the national chapter as well. There will be a prayer first, a pledge of allegiance, and then there will be a recognition of the Federation, as this is the 76th Annual Lilac Luncheon. Thanks so much for joining us here on Rumble and RSBN. Let me reverse that. Thanks for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting first. Most likely watching on Rumble and, of course, on the RSBN app and on the website. This is the reason why you come here is because you love a number of things. President Trump, freedom, God, the Constitution, truth, and saving our great country. So if you see my Truth Social page, at Matthew Alvarez, you'll see a photo in the headline at the top, and it's from a Robstown, Texas rally with Right Side Broadcasting, and it says, "Save America." Isn't that a great slogan? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to save this country. It's not dramatized. It's not dramatic verbiage or that kind of thing. It's the real deal. We really are trying to save this great land. And the freedom fighters in this country and around the world are all about keeping freedom here in the United States and in various countries around the world. I talked to someone pretty recently from Vietnam who said they came to America and they were so glad to be here. We got to remember, I didn't know, right? I didn't know that the amount of freedom we really had, because we were brought up in all of this. We're all kind of like comfortable. Now, it's been a good run. We're hoping for it to continue for many years to come until Jesus returns. But my point is, we're fighting for it. We're starting to wake up and realize that disgusting stuff that we had to fight for 1776, the war. We got away from all of that. The American Revolution, we got away from it. And now that same kind of thing is trying to take us down again. The globalists, the deep state, the enemy, the pit of hell, trying to come against our great nation. Trying to come against God, trying to come against Jesus, trying to come against his people, not only in this country, but around the world. Newsflash, we win. And I know you know that. And I'm just preaching to the choir. We win. So let's not lose hope. Let's keep going. And hopefully this prayer gets started here so we can get kicked off and hear from the 45th President of the United States. Again, I know I say it a lot, the 46th President and the 47th, hopefully, President of the United States. We do need a miracle in some ways. I do believe in miracles. But I think with God, all things are possible. But I also know that we do our part as well. And President Trump is doing his part. Him and God, right? Him and the American people. The people's president we're about to hear from here in New Hampshire. We're getting ready. Let's take another live look. I know we've taken a lot of live looks, but that's what we're doing because the organization did not allow us to talk to any more people here. For whatever reason, there were a number of patriots that are supporters of MAGA, but it looks like they are getting kick-started. The microphone is getting ready. They're getting the microphone ready for a prayer. That looks like Victoria Sullivan. That may not be her, but it's quite a distance from the media riser over to the main stage. But at this point, a lot of people have already finished their lunch, so it's about time to get the program kicked off here in New Hampshire. A lot of Trump supporters. I see a lot of red MAGA hats. And ladies and gentlemen,
with our pre-program, I would like to call up to the stage. Oh, it's me. Good way to start. Would you stand and join me in an opening prayer? Thank the Lord for this day. Our Father, we thank you for bringing us together today. We thank you for America and ask that you watch over our nation. Bless those who serve to protect and preserve her. For our community, the elected officials, candidates, volunteers, voters, and youth, we ask for guidance and wisdom so they can lead this country into the bright future our forefathers envisioned. In times of fear, chaos, and war, we will strive to stay on the path of trust, sound reasoning, and peace. We ask that you unite our hearts to be one nation under God. Empower us to speak boldly, sharing the truths of liberty and justice with the people around us. Equip us with the courage and strength we need to face this nation's challenges and overcome them. We ask that you bless the National and New Hampshire Federations of Republican Women in their work to elect, educate, and empower conservative women, as well as the men who encourage and generously support their success. Thank you for all you have given, and may we continue to show our gratitude by glorifying you in the work we have yet to accomplish. In the name of Jesus, amen. Now I'd like to welcome Honorable Jane Johnson, to lead us in the pledge, so don't sit down just yet.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please remain standing just a little bit longer. And join me in welcoming a local music student from Manchester, Jordan Steiger, who will lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Jordan. And you may all now be seated. At this time, I would like for Jane Lane, one of our directors, to come and recognize some of our Federation dignitaries that are here today.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. We're very pleased to have some of our national and state and local Federation leaders, and we'd like to recognize them now. First of all, we are so pleased to have with us today the President of the National Federation of Republican Women, Eileen Sobczak. We also have a sister state president from the state of Minnesota, the president of the Minnesota Federation of Republican Women, Vicki Folish. Thanks for coming. Also from the National Federation of Republican Women Political Director, Terry Hauser. And the National Federation of Republican Women Youth Outreach Chair, Mariah Sophia. Thank you, ladies. On our state level, we have three former state presidents with us, of which I am one. Also, Representative Janine Nodder is a former state president. And Christine Peters is a former state president. And of course, our current president, who put all this together for us today, the president of the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women, Elizabeth Gerard. Several of our local club presidents are with us. The president of my own club, the Cheshire Republican Women's Club, is Jane Johnson. Yay, Jane. the president of the Nashua Area Republican Women's Club, Kimberly Allen. The president of the Seacoast Republican Women's Club, Sarah DeVito. And last but not least, the president of the Souhegan Valley Republican Women's Club, Donnie Hodgkins. These ladies work hard for you from the national, state, and local level, and we're so glad you're here supporting our clubs. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to recognize Jeanine Nodder to give us a list of the state dignitaries with us today.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to the Lilac Luncheon. I'm the House Majority Whip, Jeanine Nodder, and I'm here to recognize our New Hampshire state senators, Ruth Ward and Carrie Gendro. Other state dignitaries include Senator Chuck Morse, Mayor George Hansel, Executive Counselor Joe Kenny, Hillsborough County Attorney John Coughlin, and New Hampshire Commissioner of Education Frank Edelblue. I know we have several state representatives in the room, so please rise. The state reps. Thank you. And any other elected officials, if you're in the room, please stand so you can also be recognized. Thank you very much.
And next, we have our National Committee woman, Juliana Bergeron, and she's going to recognize the, the party dignitaries.
I think next time we do this, we should put all the names of people who need to be recognized into a bingo game, and some table could win their dinner. Anyway, I am here to recognize the state party dignitaries, starting with New Hampshire Chairman Chris Ager. Followed by Juliana Bergeron, National Committee woman. And National Committee man Bill O'Brien. Thank you. We also have the New Hampshire College Republican Chairman, Harrison Spaltoff, here. Alan Glassman, Treasurer of New Hampshire GOP, and Assistant Treasurer Jimmy McEachran. Area 4 Vice Chairman Conrad Schefter. We have Maine's new GOP Chairman Joel Stetkes here. My friend and fellow National Committee woman from Massachusetts, Janet Fogarty. And now is where it gets tricky. I have Vermont National Committee woman Jay Shepard, who is actually the committee man, but it's Vermont, who you never know. Sorry, Jay. And Merrimack County Republican Committee Chair Karen Testerman. So those are the dignitaries. I just want to take a moment to talk to you about the RNC, who has laid the groundwork for a win in 2024, back in 2022 with our largest election integrity program ever. To beat Joe Biden and the Dems in 2024, we will need to combine the integrity program that we had with the Bank Your Vote initiative. The goal of the Bank Your Vote initiative is to encourage, educate, and activate Republican voters on where, when, and how to cast their ballot early. We need to close the pre-election voting gap that we have with the Democrats. And in New Hampshire, the only way we can help do that is by getting people to sign up for absentee ballots. I'm asking you to participate in this effort. Go to bankyourvote.com for more information or give me a call, and we will win in 2024. Thank you.
Next up, to welcome you to the City of Concord is Concord City Committee Chair Andrew Georgievitz.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Georgievitz, and I am the chairman of the Concord Republican City Committee, and I welcome you to the great city of Concord. It is a true honor to stand before you today in a room in Concord full of this many Republicans. When you think about the city, you don't always think about Republican representation, but you do think about the effort of the First in the Nation. The First in the Nation primary as a chairman is my utmost responsibility to protect. Whatever candidate comes to our state, we do our best to host and treat them with dignity and respect because they're putting their name on the ballot. So take the time to come to events after events after events and listen to every single candidate at least 4 times. But back to the city of Concord. It has been my privilege for the past decade to serve as the chairman, and it is my honor to be here before you today to be at the famous, infamously famous, Lilac Luncheon. Thank you all. Congratulations, ladies.
At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our National Federation of Republican Women President, Eileen Sobczak.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Eileen Sobczak. I'm the National Federation of Republican Women President, and it is a pleasure to be in New Hampshire at the famous Lilac Luncheon. Look at this sold-out crowd. Great job. And I am honored to be in the company of President Trump. Thank you, Mr. President, for being here today, for your strength and dedication to our great country. Your accomplishments as president were tremendous. It's a long list, and I am grateful for all that you have done. And thank you, Elizabeth Gerard, for inviting me. You and your team have organized the finest event yet. I appreciate your professionalism, your leadership in New Hampshire. You make the Republican women shine. The New Hampshire Republican women are incredible. They are energetic, smart, and beautiful. Thank you, ladies.
Sorry, we're running behind now.
Okay. All right. I just want to say a little bit about the NFRW. We train, we educate, we empower women to be campaign strategists and politically active, and they are the best. This last cycle, NFRW members racked up 7 million hours, 4 million calls, totaling an astounding $232 million volunteer dollars that were contributed to Republican campaigns across the country. We do so much more. If you are not a member, you need to become one. You need to become an associate. Go to nfrw.org. Check us out on social media and YouTube. And ladies, we welcome you to attend our Oklahoma convention September 28th, October 1st in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Thank you.
Here, grab your paper. Sorry. Next, we'll have some opening remarks by Steve Stepanek.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Steve Stepanek, former state representative, former NHGOP chairman, and currently senior advisor for President Trump. We are all here to support the NH Republican women as we move forward. The NH Republican Federation of Women is the leading Republican organization supporting women running for public office. In today's crazy world, where many of our leaders cannot define what the definition of women are, where after decades of fighting for equal treatment and support in sports as men have, women are now expected to compete with men and be happy when they lose. Where it is okay for men to share bathrooms, locker rooms, and even showers with women because they think they're a woman. More than ever, we need to support organizations like the New Hampshire Federation of Women. The funds raised today will go towards training and supporting biological Republican women who are the best advocates and the best defenders of women, young and old. On a more personal note, I am happy and proud to say that not only is my wife Ellen here, but my 96-year-old mother-in-law, Edith Kennedy, is here as well. Edith grew up in a Democratic Union town of Cohoes, New York, just north of Albany. Back in 2016, she proudly went into the Cohoes City Hall and changed her party affiliation from Democrat to Republican, and has supported Donald Trump ever since. My nickname for Edith is Beautiful. Because she has such a beautiful personality and spirit, I am proud to call her my mother-in-law and my friend. I would now like to introduce a woman who has probably impressed me more than anybody else in recent memory. She is somebody I got to know a few years ago, and she's probably the hardest working person on the campaign trail I've ever met. And if it wasn't for somebody who vetoed a bill, she would be our Congresswoman. But I am proud now to introduce Karoline Leavitt.
Hello, everybody. How are we today? Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Pleasure to be here in my great home state with each and every one of you. Big thank you to Elizabeth and the wonderful ladies at the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women, which really does uplift and invest and empower women like myself who step forward to put our names on a ballot. So thank you very much for a fantastic lunch today. And it is an honor to be here to welcome my former boss, our former president, and our future president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Now, the fake news back there is going to hate this. But who in this room knows we were a heck of a lot better off in our state and our nation with Donald Trump in the White House? They can't wrap their heads around why we support him, but we support him because we currently have the most incompetent, corrupt, and senile commander-in-chief this nation has ever had in sleepy Joe Biden. And we know we cannot afford 4 more years of this Biden regime. Joe Biden spent a decades-long career in public service and became a multi-millionaire by ripping off and selling out we the people, while Donald Trump spent a career as a billionaire businessman and gave it all up to fight for we the people, and that's the difference. And I will say, it's not just the corruption, it's the incompetent policies too. He's decimated our economy. Donald Trump reignited our economy, and he's ready to do it again. Joe Biden opened our border to illegal aliens and illegal Chinese fentanyl that is killing our fellow Granite Staters at record rates. Donald Trump is going to secure that border, implore the largest mass deportation operation in American history, and finish building that wall. And lastly, Joe Biden and the Democrats are coming for your children and your grandchildren. Donald Trump has pledged to protect them and ensure that men can never compete in women's sports here in the United States of America. That's ridiculous. Don't listen to the media back there or the billion-dollar war machine or the establishment chattering class in D.C. Donald Trump is the only candidate in this race with the record of achievements, the vision for the future, and the fortitude to stand up to the swamp. And we will send him back to the White House for another 4 years. Thank you. We love you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Karoline. And now I would like to introduce to you the extraordinary woman who made this historic Lilac Luncheon possible. She's the longest consecutively serving and youngest state president in the history of the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. 4 years ago, when I led the nominating committee in our search for the next president, it was my mother, Nancy Elliott, who said, "You know, I met the most amazing young woman at a Trump rally." So we asked, and she agreed, and here we are all today. Through dramatically increased programs and opportunities, in spite of a worldwide pandemic, Elizabeth has raised more funds to benefit Republican women through this organization than ever before. She has amplified the voices of Republican women in the Granite State and beyond. Please join me in welcoming New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women's President, Elizabeth Girard.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 76th Annual Historic Lilac Luncheon. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today. As Christine mentioned, this is our most successful Lilac Luncheon to date. We have raised just over $90,000 that we will use towards electing Republican women candidates running for state and local office in 2024. NHFRW supports all of the men who support us, and there are a lot of you. I just want to give a very special thank you to former NHGOP Chairman Stephen Stepanek for all of his support of the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women. Thanks, Steve. I also would like to give a very special thank you to our NHGOP Chairman Chris Ager, who's right here. Yes. Thank you, Chairman Ager, for your efforts to ensure that all Republican candidates feel welcome in the Granite State. The New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women welcomes all candidates to participate in the First in the Nation primary process within our organization. In addition to our major events this year, we started our First in the Nation Women's Voices series, which aims to elevate women's voices and connect our members to the presidential candidates. It has been a huge success and an incredible opportunity for our members to meet the Republican presidential hopefuls. In just 4 months, we have hosted Governor Nikki Haley, Senator Tim Scott, Vice President Mike Pence, Perry Johnson, Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Rogers, Governor Asa Hutchinson, Mayor Francis Suarez, and Congressman Will Hurd for press-covered roundtables and exclusive membership meet and greets. We are so excited to be hosting President Trump today and look forward to welcoming Governors Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Doug Burgum, as well as all of the other presidential candidates who happen to throw their hat in the ring. The New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women has not, nor will we, endorse a candidate in the Republican presidential primary. Our members love the opportunity to meet and to listen to each presidential candidate. We know that the coming years will shape our country in ways the world has never seen. We know that the stakes could not be higher. The New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women are leading the way for conservatives across the Granite State and redefining the Republican Party. New Hampshire Republican women are mothers, daughters, businesswomen, educators, and young professionals who understand the issues that are most affecting Granite Staters. Whether it be the economy, mandates, parental rights, or any other issue, Republican women in New Hampshire are outspoken leaders, fearless voices, and active change makers. New Hampshire Republican women think for ourselves, speak for ourselves, and stand up for what's right, no matter how difficult that may be, and even when we have to stand alone. And let me tell you, you won't find a stronger sisterhood than these ladies. So many of the women in this room know what I mean when I say we often get asked the question, how can we, as women, be Republicans? I always ask, how can we not, when the other side wants biological men in women's bathrooms and in women's sports, when they prioritize indoctrinating our kids over educating them, and they believe any idea they don't agree with is hate speech. For whatever reason, they can't seem to find a way to have a civil conversation with a conservative, especially a conservative woman. It is so obvious that the Republican Party is the party of women because the Republican Party treats women as the leaders we are and not the victims the left wants us to be. The Republican Party values women and the contributions we make to our country. And by the way, the Republican Party doesn't want to replace us or our achievements with that of biological men. Believe me, I know it's not always easy to speak up as a Republican woman for fear of being shut down, canceled, or ridiculed, but it's really important that we do speak up, especially since the left will do everything in their power to silence us. We've worked hard as women to get where we are today. It was the Republican Party that fought for the women's right to vote, and it is the Republican Party that will once again now and for generations to come stand by women. We so often hear the phrase, we need to focus on women's issues. Now, I don't know what women's issues are. Just to be completely clear, women care just as much about the economy and national security as we do about the issues of life, family, and education. All issues are women's issues. What we don't care about is the ever-changing issue of the day that the left wants us to get worked up about. Every day, there's some new woke idea that Democrats invent and Americans are expected to adapt. And if you don't accept it, you're labeled intolerant. Just when you think they can't get any crazier, they just keep going. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up if you tried. If you had said a few years ago that the government would be attempting to ban gas stoves or penalize borrowers with good credit by making them pay the highest rates, or that concerned parents speaking up at school board meetings would be considered unhinged, people would have said, no, that's crazy. But we're here, we're at crazy, and we're the ones who have to do something about it. There is nobody left. We need to get everybody to go out and vote Republican. Freedom in this country is under assault by the left. While the Democrats seek to destroy the family unit and come for our privacy and our Second Amendment rights, the Republican Party will stand firm in its defense of American values. The Republican Party will be on the right side of history. We in this room are all so involved that we sometimes forget the majority of people don't follow politics like we do. It's imperative that we talk to those friends, neighbors, and family members who may not have voted with us in the past. There are people in all of our lives who may not realize that their values are actually Republican values. There are so many discouraged and dissatisfied voters out there. Let them know that if they're frustrated with inflation, the border crisis, the national debt, what's happening in our schools, then they need to go out and they need to vote Republican with us. Our organization exists to make sure women's voices are heard. And while we don't always agree on everything, We understand that we can have different opinions and still have a civil discussion. This is a free country, and we're American citizens. We can disagree about something and still reach a solution. That is the beauty of being an American. We can, however, all agree on one thing. The Democrats are destroying our country, and we need change. When we disagree with the other side or don't buy into the issue of the moment, we're accused of being intolerant or stuck in the past. The left claims to be the party of tolerance, inclusion, and compassion, unless, of course, you don't agree with their agenda. Knowing full well that the facts are on our side, the left name calls, threatens, and cancels because they can't do anything else. Freedom of thought and freedom of speech are frightening to the Democrats. That's why they label anything they don't agree with as disinformation. So please keep speaking up. Speak up whenever you have the opportunity. Speak up because the future of our country depends on you speaking up. I know each and every one of you in this room will continue to work hard to ensure the future of our country, and the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women will always support your efforts. We hear you, we stand with you, and together our voices are unstoppable. No matter what the left does and no matter what anyone does, we will keep speaking up for what's right for New Hampshire and our nation, because we're Republican women, and that's what we do. Now, there's someone here today who epitomizes the courage to speak up in the face of adversity. During his 4 years in office, our country experienced unprecedented prosperity and recognition on the world stage. We are honored to have him speak today at the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women's 76th Annual Lilac Luncheon. Now get those American flags out, and please join me in welcoming our special guest, the 45th President of the United States and presidential candidate, Donald J. Trump.
An American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say
Thank you very much, and thank you, Elizabeth, and congratulations on your tremendous leadership. You have done a fantastic job, and thank you, and I love you too. Thank you very much, and thanks as well to all of the Republican women of the great state of New Hampshire. What a great state. You put your heart and soul into fighting for our party and for our country, and it's a true honor, and it really is a great privilege and honor to address the legendary Lilac Luncheon at your largest event ever. I hear this is the largest one, and none of the candidates that follow me will top it. I'm pretty sure about that. Elizabeth didn't want to say, but the other ones don't do too well. This one did very well. I'm sure she'll be thrilled with that statement, right? I also want to recognize National Federation of Republican Women President Eileen Sobczak. Eileen, thank you very much. Where are you, Eileen? Thank you very much. Great job. New Hampshire House Majority Whip Janine Notter. Thank you, Janine. Great job. Thank you. Great job. State Senators Ruth Ward and Kerry Jandro. Thank you. Thank you very much. Former Senator Chuck Morse. Where's Chuck? Good man. Good man. Great guy. I wish I endorsed you. He says me too. He's a good man. Another good man. Former U.S. Senator Bob Smith. Bob, thank you very much. And Mrs. Smith. More importantly, Mrs. Smith. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bob. Speaker of the New Hampshire House, Sherm Packard. Sherm. Thank you very much. Events Director, Christine Peters. Christine, thank you very much. Great job. My New Hampshire Senior Advisor, but really like my boss in New Hampshire, Steve Stepanek. Steve, thank you very much. And the chair of our Manchester City campaign, Chrissy Cantor and Karoline Leavitt. Karoline and Chrissy, thank you both very much. Great. Two dynamos, thank you very much. Great job. And a very special thanks to the great supporter and whose endorsement I'm very, very proud to have today. I just got to say hello to her again, Augusta Petrone. Where is Augusta? Thank you very much, Augusta. I love that name. I love that name. That's a great name. Thank you. Thank you very much. Today I also have the honor of announcing the Lilac Bush raffle winners. Oh, she's going to like this one, Senator Ruth Ward. Did you know that? Kimberly Allen, Tom Aria, Janet Fogarty, Stacy Goodrich, Lou Gargiolo. Where is Lou? What a good guy Lou is. Tracy Johnson, Jennifer Lawplay, Al Fulcino, and Janine Notter. Congratulations, that's great. That's good. I hope they give you something very nice. I don't know what they're giving you, but I hope it's going to be good. For 7 years, all of us have been fighting side by side to rescue our country from the sinister forces who hate it and who want to destroy it, and now we are approaching the most important battle of our lives. I believe this is the most important election we've ever had, maybe by far. I used to say that in 2016 and meant it. This is more important right now because our country is going to hell. On November 5th, 2024, we're going to stand up to the Marxists and communists, fascists and globalists. We're going to evict crooked Joe Biden. He is crooked as hell. You know, I took the name away from Hillary. I was crooked Hillary. And now I call her beautiful Hillary. She's a beautiful woman. But I figured that Joe was so deserving of it because I don't like to do it with two people, you know. Two people sharing a name is not good. But he's crooked Joe Biden. We're going to finish what we started, and we will make America great again, greater than ever before. We're going to do that. All of us here today are on a mission to liberate our nation from a corrupt Washington swamp that's destroying America for their own power. That's what they want, I guess, power and profit and personal gain. There's no better example than the most corrupt president in the history of our country. Joe Biden, he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. You see what's going on. And the fake news doesn't want to report it. They don't put it in the papers. This is 10 times bigger, 100 times. No, this is 100 times bigger than Watergate. And they don't want to report it for whatever reason. That's why they have no credibility at all. 5 days ago, the IRS whistleblower revealed that Crooked Joe sat in the room while his son Hunter messaged a Chinese Communist Party official, a leader, a very top person, and said, I quote, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled." In other words, where the hell is the cash? Think it is. It's not like they're doing anything for it. Oh, they are doing things for it. We just don't want to, they don't want to tell us. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this right now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. I never knew he was that tough. And if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, that's pretty high up, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, my father, and every person he knows, you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father. I mean, what the hell is going on? And the fake news doesn't want to talk about it. Within 10 days, the Biden got $5.1 million from China for doing absolutely nothing. But again, they did a lot. They did a lot. Joe Biden is a compromised president, and that's why nothing happens with China, because China knows how compromised he is. They have full control over our president. Once again, Trump was right. I've been right about a lot of things. Given the millions of dollars his family has received, it's no wonder Biden doesn't seem to mind that China has opened military installations. This is not even believable. In Cuba, 90 miles off our coast. Think of this. China is now building military installations in Cuba, and Biden doesn't want to talk about it. When I get back in, I will inform China that they have 48 hours to get any military and spy equipment the hell out of Cuba. Or there will be taxes and tariffs placed on their billions and billions of dollars of things that they send into us like they've never seen before. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No other president took in 10 cents. Biden wants to do nothing. The reason he wants to do nothing is because he can't. He can't. He's totally compromised. He's owned by China. Biden is owned by China. Think of it. We have a president, and that's just one of the five. That's 5.1 million, but there's many more from many different countries. Remember during the debate where I said, why did the mayor of Moscow's wife give you $3.5 million? And he couldn't answer the question. And then Chris, do you remember Chris Wallace? He wants to be his father, but he had no talent. Remember Chris Wallace? He always wanted to be Mike Wallace, but he had no talent, you know. Mike Wallace was his father. Mike Wallace was great. Mike Wallace did me on 60 Minutes. That was when it really meant something. Mike Wallace was great, but Chris said, you shouldn't be asking him a question. I said, well, he said, well, that's not pertinent to the debate. I said, I think it is. The mayor of Moscow's wife handed them a check for $3.5 million. What's it for? And Biden was so happy that he was saved from having to answer that, because there was no explanation for it, and there still isn't. No, people don't even talk about that one anymore. But you can add that to the long list. You can't drain the swamp if you're part of the swamp, and Joe Biden and other opponents, many of them are owned, controlled, they're bought, and they're paid for 100%. They're controlled. Our country is controlled by other countries. Right now, the lobbyists and special interests are pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into futile attempts to stop our movement. They are fighting me. They even tried to have me arrested. I'm a candidate. I said, wait a minute, I'm a candidate. You're arresting a candidate? Yeah, because you're leading. That's why we're arresting. If you were losing or if you weren't a candidate, we'd have no problem. But they don't like it when we're leading, and we're leading by a lot. Because they know that I'm the only candidate. They know that I'm the only candidate in this race who they will never own and they will never control. That's why this is not good. This is why they suffer from a thing called Trump derangement syndrome. Have you ever heard of that? I have, unfortunately. I've heard a lot about it. But they do suffer from that. It's a very, very rare but very potent sickness. These are sick people. I don't put Washington, D.C. first like they do. I put America first every single time. I put America first. This election will be the end of the world for the corrupt political class in our nation's capital. And I now know them. You know, I had experience like nobody has had experience. When I went to Washington, I was there 17 times, it was reported. Never slept over, never stayed over. It wasn't my place. It wasn't my world. But it's my world now. I got to know it better than anybody. I know the good ones. I know the weak ones, the bad ones. I know the strong ones. I know them all. I know the smart ones. I know the dummies. We got great people. And we've had great. Look, we rebuilt our military. Largest tax cuts in history for this country. We did so much, and we had great people. But we had some people that I wouldn't have used. I had to rely on some rhinos. Could you give me a little advice? Who'd be good for this or that? And some rhino would give me a name, and then I wasn't happy with them. Then I'd fire them, and they'd say, well, that wasn't nice, he fired. But when people can't do the job for our country, I want to fire them. America is tired of being ruled by radical bureaucrats in Washington, and we are done with the likes of the Bidens and the Clintons and the Obamas and the radical left Democrats, the Marxists. Guys like Paul Ryan and Karl Rove, we're so tired of these people. We're so tired of them. I promise you this, if I am going to be victorious, and I feel so strongly about it, my biggest thing is we got to be very careful during election period. We used to say election day, right? But now some of these election days are 60 days long. But that's the biggest risk because they cheat like hell. But I promise you this, you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over, and it'll be over quickly, and America will be a free nation once again. Once again. When I'm back in the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. And there is a deep state. I used to say, I don't know, is there a deep state? It's far more vicious than anybody understands. That's why they do this stuff with me. These fake prosecutors, right? Deranged people. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to investigate the Biden bribery and crime ring. You know, we have a long-time statute of limitations. We will achieve complete independence from China. I will work to ban federal employees from taking jobs at companies that they regulate. These guys, they regulate companies, and all of a sudden you see they're not regulated. They're giving the companies everything, and then they retire. Congratulations, they give them a little watch. They send them on away, and 2 days later they announce, I happen to be working for, I won't mention names, like Raytheon or this one. But I happen to be working for Big Pharma. I was given a great job. Oh, how much are you getting? Well, they pay me approximately $1.5 million a year. Oh, that sounds good. Great job. No, it's very sad what's going on, but we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. You can't go, you regulate companies, you're not going to work for them because even honest ones are influenced. And they're influenced too much. That means no more revolving door between Big Pharma and the FDA. The FDA guys, they go into Big Pharma. And on day one, I will reissue my 2020 executive order restoring president's authority to tell rogue and corrupt bureaucrats, you're fired. Did anybody ever say, you're fired, get out, get out, get out, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Nobody's ever seen The Apprentice, right? How great was that? Wasn't that great? People still say. You know, there's a debate going on because the guys that did Mark Burnett, they're great guys. They did The Apprentice. And our enemies, opponents, they blame sometimes Hollywood for having created that without The Apprentice, they think I wouldn't have been president. And a lot of people, and I put it to a vote, and I say, well, you know, they chose me for The Apprentice because I was famous and doing well and stuff. And so I'm not sure about that. I was never able. What do you think? If I didn't do The Apprentice, do you think I still would have been president? Okay, so who says no? Who said The Apprentice without, you know, look, it's not an insult. It was a great show. It went, I mean, #1 a lot of times. I mean, that thing had tremendous, tremendous success. Remember that first season, it had 42 million people watching it for the finale. You remember that? Rancic and the whole group, Bill Rancic and everybody, names from the past. But who thinks, okay, so without The Apprentice, would I have been president? With The Apprentice, what do you think? How important, in other words, how important was The Apprentice? No, okay, it's very, she said she's never seen it. That's like, I don't know. I think I'm not insulted by that. She said, all right, well, it's just a little rumor that goes around. They blamed this guy, Jeff Zucker, who got fired at CNN. I got him his job, and then he got fired, but it took too long to fire him. How about CNN? We did the CNN town hall. Did anybody see it? So it was a ratings bonanza for them. I did it because I was going into enemy territory, but they get lousy ratings. And so I'm sure, oh, there goes their camera. Their camera just went off. Who cares? Their camera just went off. The little red light, and all of a sudden, what happened to that red light? But you know what? So CNN, so I walk in, and I could see the level of hostility was incredible. But think of it, they fired the head of CNN, and he had the highest rated show in 11 years. It's supposed to work the opposite. This world is really screwy. Open borders, no voter ID, fire a guy who just got great ratings. They fired him because he got great ratings. No, but that was a good show, though, wasn't it? Did we do a good job? I think so. I think so. That was hostile territory. They asked 39 different questions on 39 different subjects from 39 different places all over the world. Do you think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. And the level of hatred and hostility from that particular anchor was not good. This was not a healthy situation, was it? Today, I'm proposing another new policy that will help us drain the swamp. To stop Biden's wasteful spending and crippling inflation, I will fight to restore the president's historic impoundment power. A lot of you don't know what that is. For 200 years, the president had the right to block unneeded spending and return the funds directly to the Treasury. They stopped that. Congress unconstitutionally probably attacked the impoundment power in 1974, but it will come back. We're going to bring it back, and we will squeeze the bloated federal bureaucracy, and we'll, instead of just having to just spend it, we're going to reduce our debt. We would have reduced our debt with the oil. You know, we were doing so well with oil. We were energy independent. We're going to reduce your taxes further, and we're going to pay down debt. We were going to become bigger, much bigger than Saudi Arabia. We're going to become bigger than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. We're going to reduce the hell out of the debt and reduce your taxes further. You already got the biggest tax cut in history, bigger than the Reagan tax cut. But the most important step in truly draining the swamp is to end the weaponization of the Justice Department and the abuse of law enforcement to stop political dissent. As you know, 2 weeks ago, crooked Joe Biden ordered his top political opponent arrested. Oh, who is that opponent? Oh, it's me. Oh, fool. Right in the middle of a presidential campaign that his opponent is winning by a lot. Think of this one. This wasn't in the book. This wasn't in the playbook. But because the public is really smart, my numbers went up. I got 2 of them. And then they put their top guy, into the New York DA's office. And think of this. They took a person from Washington, federal, and they put him into a local office to see whether or not they could indict me, and that's another fake indictment. And my numbers went up there too. But can you imagine? So Garland's top guy was let go and put into that office to make sure everything worked out well. Do you think I have a nice life? Is this fun? I had such an easy life before this crap. but we're going to make our country so great it's going to be worth it, because this stuff doesn't hold up, and people know it. There could be others coming, like for a perfect phone call. Numbers will keep going up. I don't think a thing like that's ever happened before. And this has never happened before. Weaponization like this never happened before. This is the continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. That's all it is. And its primary purpose is election interference, and we're not going to let this election be stolen from us. This is a form of rigging the election, because they rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. And you know, some people said the other day, I read something, well, you know, Trump has these things and he's got all. You don't understand one thing. If somebody else, let's assume somebody else took this position, because we're leading by a lot. I mean, I'd have to work really hard to blow this one. Even the fake news knows that. They actually. But let's assume somebody else took this position. They'd go after them just as tough or tougher. They're crooked people. They fake dossier, all of the fake stuff. They spied on my campaign. These are crooked people. These are sick people. And they will do the same thing to whoever it may be. And people say, I'm going for Trump because he's the only one we know that can take it. And there's truth to that. Even you might admit that, Karoline, right? No, but no matter who it is, you could take the most innocent candidate. He'll say, oh, thank you, this is such a great honor. 2 days later, remember when I was first elected, not a day had gone by. I think it was about an hour after that. We will be impeaching him. And they said, for what? We don't know yet, but we'll figure something. They ended up impeaching me over a perfect phone call. Congratulations on winning. That was a call to Ukraine. And when they asked Zelensky, which I respect, I tell you what, I get along with him, get along with Putin, I'd have that war. It would have never happened under me. Never, ever, would have never happened. But I'll have that war settled in 24 hours. And it won't even be a tough one by comparison to other things. But it's, you know, it's pretty amazing when you look at the things that we've done, and we've done them together. And this has been an incredible state with incredible love. People like Steve, who I've known so long, but just incredible love with new fans and new people that have really come to the fore, and we appreciate it, Karoline. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a badge, a great, great, beautiful badge of honor and courage. Because I'm being indicted for you, and I believe that you is far more than 200 million people that love our country, not the 75 million people that we got. That's what they said we got, okay? Somebody said, you know, for a guy that got 80 million votes, okay? He didn't get 80 million votes. For a guy that got 80 million votes, you know, when they see, like today, I saw the hats, I saw the this, I saw everything. I see scarves with Trump, win, win, you won, 100 different things. And he said, the guy got 80 million votes. Nobody's ever seen a hat saying Biden. It's true, I never thought of it. Look at a beautiful woman here, Trump. They're all Trump, 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 Trump. Trump, we drive you crazy. Look at her, look at that beautiful. No. You go to a Biden rally, nobody shows up. Remember the circles, those beautiful circles? That was the best thing, that those circles were so professionally done. If I ever need a good painter, they were, but they'd have 8 circles. They couldn't fill them up. They had to get the fake news to fill them up. They couldn't fill them up. But think of it. Did you ever see a Biden, anybody walking around with a Biden cap? This is the #1 selling hat in the history of the world. There's never been a hat that sold like this whole thing. Whether it's MAGA or Make America Great Again or Trump 1, they have a lot of them Trump 1 people walk around, but they don't walk. I've never seen a hat. Has anybody, raise your hand, has anybody seen one person wearing a hat saying Biden anything? Anybody? Because I really don't think I've seen one. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Brandon. You know what? Maybe the press would wear one. No, the press doesn't even wear them. Never forget, our enemies want to stop us because we are the only ones who can stop them. And if these corrupt persecutions of our people succeed, they will complete their takeover of this country and destroy your way of life, and it'll be destroyed forever. You're never going to be able to come back. This country is so far down right now. We're really, truly a failing nation. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. And they want to silence me. True. They want to silence me because I will not let them silence you. That's what's happening here. It's an amazing thing, and it's a great honor for me. I have to be honest, it's a great honor. And when I see those poll numbers like I saw today, Morning Consult just came out with a great one. Anselm just came out with a great one. They don't love me, but they just came. You know, there's only so much they can do, right? But in the end, they're not after me, they're after you, and I'm just standing in their way, right? We know that. It's no wonder the swamp is getting truly desperate as they see us leading with these kind of margins that very few people have ever seen before. The new Morning Consult poll, just out like literally 20 minutes before I came up, 57% President Trump, to sanctimonious at 19%. He's heading. Question is, when will he go to third place? Somebody said, how come you only attack him? I said, because he's in second place. Well, why don't you attack others? Because they're not in second place. But soon, I don't think he'll be in second place, so I'll be attacking somebody else. You know, like we're intelligent people. Let's attack the one in second. We don't have to attack the one in third, Steve, right? Steve told me that. Don't attack third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Worry about two. As they keep coming up to two, we keep sending them back to the dry cleaners, right? In last week's Big Village poll, we lead the field by 41 points, with us at 56 and DeSantis at 15, and Nikki Haley at 4, and Tim Scott, who happens to be a very nice guy, actually, at 3%, and Mike Pence at 2%. Actually, Vivek Ramaswamy is leading most of our candidates. And you know why? Because he says Trump is one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country. And I said, I like that guy. I like him. I said, are you sure he's running against me? You know, that's a pretty severe statement, but he's very good. He's actually a pretty good guy. In a recent CBS poll, we have 61% of the Republican primary vote. Think of that. In the Harvard-Harris poll that just came out, we have a 25-point increase from January. 25 points, not percentage, points. That's big. In New Hampshire, we have a 47% to DeSanctimonious with 13%. And by the way, he's holding an event right now, which is considered not nice, you know, because candidates go through. It's not really nice, but he's holding an event right now to compete with us. There's only one problem. Nobody showed up. So he's having a little problem explaining that. And I'm proud to say we're polling especially well among women, very well among women. You know, they always say, oh, women. Women. How are you doing with women? Women want security. Women want a strong border. Women want low taxes. They want good education. They want good schools. They don't want to have all this gender cutting up their children things. They don't want to have, as an example, men in women's sports. You know, you're seeing those records. Remember, I used to talk about it a year ago. I'd say women and men, and I'd imitate the weightlifter, and I'd imitate the swimmer, talk about the swimmer, that he won by so much that the young woman suffered horrible, horrible wind burns, right? I tell these things, you know. She suffered greatly, the wind, by him going so fast by her. The wind was so strong that it hurt her. No, it's very unfair, and it's actually very demeaning to women. You got to see the weightlifting ones. You have to see the weightlifting ones. This guy gets up, he never lifted before. Have you lifted before? A young woman almost broke the record. She was an eighth of an ounce away. And this guy walks up. Thank you very much. Have you lifted before? No, I haven't. Bing. You know, the whole thing is crazy. And it's very demeaning and very bad for women, and it's going to be ended. And we ended it, and then these guys came in and they started it up again. Who would think of this, though? Who Who would think that that's a good thing, right? Who would think that that's a good thing? Who would think, when I always say, you don't have to say it now because it's a factor, we will protect parental rights. Who the hell wouldn't protect parental rights? Why would you even have to say that, right? You know, why do you have to say that? In one recent poll of Republican women, it was Trump 54% to DeSantis at 60. That's an abbreviation for DeSanctimonious. Most of you have figured it out. The ones who haven't figured that one out probably wouldn't be in this room very long. And we're leading Biden by a lot. We're up by 3 points in the Morning Consult. We're up by 7 points in the Harvard-Harris. And together, we're up by actually 11.5 points in another one that just came out. Together in, how the hell does this guy get votes anyway? But don't forget, I won't say groups, but they have this group, that group, that group, that group, and that group. So they start off with like a base of 35%. We have to win the whole East Coast to catch up. And that's what we did more than once. We did it twice, but now we're going to have to do it a third time. Together in 4 incredible years under our administration, we delivered the largest tax cuts and regulatory cuts in history. And the regulatory cuts were more important than the tax cuts. A lot of you wouldn't know that, only the people with businesses, but that's what created this incredible job situation that we had. And likewise, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. There's never been an economy like the economy we built. And so many people, even people today came up, thank you, sir, for what you did. My business has been flourishing. And, you know, unfortunately, see, they're running on the fumes of what we did. That's why, I mean, it's not disastrous. It is actually, people feel disastrous, like 80% negative. Nobody's ever had a vote like that, that the sentiment is 80%, 81%, 82% negative. But the fact is, everything they have is they're running on the fumes of what we built because we had something that nobody's ever done before. But those two things go hand in hand. We achieved energy independence and energy dominance for the first time in 60 years. And I believe longer than that. We had gas prices at $1.87 a gallon, and we had them lower than that, actually, for a period of time. After years of bitter betrayals of New Hampshire workers, I ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever, ever, ever made. It was so horrible. It was so embarrassing. You know, when they signed the NAFTA deal many years ago, they had typos, and the typos were very bad typos, you know, like different percentages and things, always in our disfavor. And instead of having them replaced and say, excuse me, we made a deal, they just paid them. This went on for 30 years. They could have fixed them, but they didn't bother. They had actually typos, and or however you might call it, where like 12% is 14% or 16. Probably weren't typos. They were put by the other side, but our people didn't know what the hell they were doing. And we replaced it with the USMCA. That's Mexico, Canada, the best trade deal ever made for our country. In fact, that deal was so good that Mexico and Canada are now trying to renegotiate it with the wonderful Biden administration. Don't do it. Don't do it, Joe. Don't do it. How much money did Canada and Mexico give to Joe? Because that's the way you'll determine whether or not he's going to make a change. Has Hunter gone to Mexico recently? Has he gone to Canada? I stood up to China like no administration has ever done before, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury from China when no other president brought in anything. They never even talked about the subject. I alerted people to the dangers of China. Before me, nobody knew China was doing numbers on us. They took out so much money. What they were doing to us was terrible. Ron DeSantis opposed my China tariffs very strongly. And very simply, he sided with the communists in China as I fought for the workers of America. He fought it very hard. He fought a lot of things, you know. We have clips of him. We'll use them at the appropriate time, but we have clips of Ron where he had a closed state. We will close our state. He was closed. Now he says, oh, we're so open. He wasn't open. There were some governors like Henry McMaster, because I didn't make anybody close. It was a federalist program. The Democrats all closed. Some governors closed. Some governors closed for a short time. Georgia was closed a little bit for a short time. They did a very good job. If you look at South Dakota, Christie did a very good job. She was open. She kept it open. and some others. They did a very good job. But Ron was actually strongly closed. Remember, he closed the beaches, closed the highways. He didn't want anybody on those highways. Remember, those highways were closed. We want everybody locked in. He would make very threatening speeches. You know, I think he's a tough guy. And but then all of a sudden he's campaigning. I didn't close. And the media, the fake news, goes with him. Well, you know, he kept it. He didn't do that. And he loved Fauci. You know, he loved Fauci at the beginning. He thought he was great. He says, I have statements about him with Fauci that are just like, frankly, devastating. He liked them a hell of a lot more than I did. And when China targeted our farmers and lobstermen, I gave them $28 billion straight out of the tariffs that China was paying. And Ron DeSantis totally opposed it, but we overrode his opposition. I mean, so, you know, your lobstermen and all, and Maine especially. I mean, it's anybody from Maine here? Maine? Oh, what? Like it's not that many, but you know what I'm saying. I opened it up. I opened that up, and it's amazing. I made a deal with the European Union to eliminate tariffs on American lobster, the first EU tariff reduction of any product in over 28 years. I also opened up 5,000 square miles of ocean that your favorite president, other than me, Barack Hussein Obama, had closed to New England fishermen. We created the most secure border in U.S. history. We had the strongest border. Think of it. 3 years ago, we had the strongest border in history. By the way, when I say three, you know, I used to say two, and I used to say one. Now I say three. We're almost there. That means we're almost there, right? Okay, we're almost there. We're very close. 6 months, a little more than 6 months, we're going to have our first primaries. And I kept you in that number one spot. Iowa, New Hampshire, we kept it the way it's been for a long time. A lot of people fought me on that. I said, nope, we're keeping New Hampshire right where it is. That's where you want to be. I would have had a hard time with Steve if I did. Steve would have said, sir, I like you very much, but I'm resigning. But he didn't have to worry about that, right, Steve? We took care of it. But we kept you right where you were, and a lot of people Republicans wanted to change. The Democrats did change. Built nearly 500 miles of border wall, got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. I said to him, if you charge us for the soldiers, I'm going to charge you tariffs on all the cars that you're sending in, and we're going to make a very substantial profit. Negotiated remain in Mexico. Remain in Mexico. We wanted people to remain in Mexico, not remain in the United States until we approved them, and many of them couldn't be approved because they were prisoners, they were convicts, they were people from mental institutions. Implemented rapid deportations with Title 42 and terminated the ridiculous catch and release program. That was where you catch somebody and then you release them into our country. I mean, you're caught. Okay, let me have your name. So they give the name. My name is Juan Gonzalez. Hello, Juan. Good. Okay. Any criminal records? Oh, you've been very bad. Okay. Juan, thank you very much. Would you please report back in 4 years? We have a trial coming up for you, Juan. Thank you very much. Enjoy your life, because you never see them. They're gone. They never come back. 1% of the people come back, and those are the people that aren't too smart, okay? We appointed nearly 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade. Nobody thought that was going to happen. I fully rebuilt the U.S. military, created Space Force, defeated ISIS. We totally defeated ISIS. I was told it couldn't be done. Did it in 4 weeks and brought our troops back home. We brought them back home. Remember when Hillary was screaming, he will get us into World War III. Because my personality said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. We didn't start any war. I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war. I got us out of the wars. And I imposed a powerful travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists and jihadists out of our country. And take a look at those 4 years. You didn't see anything, did you? It's pretty amazing. But all of that was only the beginning, and here is just some of the very bold agenda that I will immediately implement when we, as a group, when we become president of the United States. It's going to be us, because I'm doing it as a group. It's a big group, too. It's a group that's far bigger than the fake news understood. They had no idea. They never saw. When 2016, they said, what the hell is happening here? They saw people coming in with the bandanas that were bright red in the hats and the whole thing. And they said, what is going on? Started with Tennessee. Tennessee was a very early state. The lines were like 4 miles. It has early voting. I'd like to see one day voting, by the way, all over. One day. One day voting, paper ballots, voter ID, no mail-in except for faraway military and people that are truly sick. And you're going to have honest elections again. You'll have honest elections. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. If it's not settled, they said nobody's talking about settlement. They're not even talking about it. People are being killed at a level far greater than they report. You know, when you see those cities being bombed to hell, I mean, they're just being bombed, those massive buildings. They're big buildings coming down. And then they say one person was injured slightly. No, hundreds of people are killed every time. You have hundreds of thousands of people killed. That war is a nasty, horrible war. They're destroying the country. They're destroying the people. Hundreds of thousands of people. You're going to be seeing a number like so much greater than you have any idea. And for no reason, because I would get that settled. I know both people very well, and I will get that settled in 24 hours. These guys keep saying, oh, that's not possible. It's very possible. In fact, we have done a lot tougher things than that. But it would have never started. It should have never started. The country is blown to hell, and the people, you know, hundreds of thousands of people are dead or very horribly wounded without the legs or without the arms. It's a horrible, horrible thing. Literally no hospitals to help them. I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent World War III. And we're very close to World War III. We're very close to World War III. I will immediately end Biden's war on American energy, which is the stupidest war. When he got in, he drove the energy prices way up, including your electric bills. Most expensive energy in the entire country is right here. But drove up your energy bills, your gasoline prices. So when you drive it up, that would be a good time to drill, right? No, that's when he decided there won't be any more drilling. We're going all electric, by the way, even though California has blackouts all over. They just announced today another big blackout all over. Now we're going to, on top of everything else, we're going to load up your cars with electric. And you know what? I think electric cars are wonderful. I think they're great. But you know what? Some people don't want them. They want to be able to drive for more than an hour and 12 minutes. They'd like to drive to the country to see mom and dad, but the drive is an hour and a half, and the electric doesn't make it. I thought of this the other day. Nobody told me this. I think of a lot of things. You know the greatest industry in the world to invest in right now? If this happens with electric? The tow truck industry. I said, you know, it's a great time. I think I'll do that. I won't do this. I'm going to go up and buy 2,000 tow trucks. I'm going to make a fortune. You ever see the cars? They're being towed all over the place. After Biden shut down the Keystone XL pipeline, which I approved, and passed a $20 billion tax hike on American energy where they just got rid of all their jobs, gas prices in New Hampshire are up 53% in just a short period of time. Oh, but they're going much higher. And your state has some of the highest electricity costs anywhere in the nation. In fact, parts of your state have the highest cost. I will quickly be able to cut that in half. I'll have it down so fast. I'll get it down very fast. I'll also pass landmark legislation to be known as the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If India, China, or any other country hits us with a 100% or a 200% tax or tariff on American-made goods, which they do, we will hit them with that same tariff or tax, exactly the same, right back. It's called reciprocal. It's a reciprocal tax. If they charge us, we will charge them. If they tariff us or tax us, we will tariff them or tax them. And you know what will happen when we do that? One of two things. Either they'll just say, look, forget it. It's too complicated to collect the tax, or we'll be getting a fortune. We'll make a fortune because we'll be getting the same kind of tax that they, and we've been doing, we did great trade deals. We did so many great, then we got stymied with the COVID. When COVID came in, we had to fight that battle. It was a totally different battle. We did an incredible job with that, and we actually gave back a stock market that was higher than it was just before COVID came in. I had a meeting with some very top political people and pollsters. It was one day before the China virus came to our shores. And we're talking about the election, which was starting to get close. And they said, sir, if George Washington came back from the dead and he brought Abraham Lincoln along with him as his VP candidate, they could not beat you. You are so, it's impossible what you've been able to do. And then the next day, literally the next day, we got hit with this thing that nobody had ever heard about. Nobody had ever heard about it, seen it. Nobody thought it was even possible. And we figured it out. We did a really great job. I always said, you know, I've gotten a lot of credit for a lot of things, but we never got enough credit for that. Operation Warp Speed, a lot of the things that we did were incredible, including Regeneron, and some of the therapeutics were absolutely incredible. But nobody had ever seen anything like this. Killed millions and millions of people all over the world. Unlike Ron DeSanctimonious, who voted to gut Medicare and Social Security and voted 3 times to raise the retirement age, I just found out today they think he actually voted 6 times. 6 times. Against Social Security. You can't do that. Would anybody here, I see some people that could be prime, you look much younger than that, but would anybody here mind if they cut the hell out of their Social Security? Please raise your hand if you wouldn't mind. There's one guy. Oh, there's one beautiful woman. Oh, she said I was only kidding. Okay. No, it's not fair. You earned it, right? You earned it. And now they want to cut it. He wants to cut it. One thing about a politician, I know very well, their initial thought is always what they go back to. Like if you have a never-Trumper, usually they're always a never-Trumper. I mean, you know, when I won, I had a lot of never-Trumpers. Sir, I admire you so much. I love you, sir. I love you, sir. But you're a never-Trumper. No, I've changed. But as soon as things get a little bit tough, those never-Trumpers are gone. They stick with what brings them. And you know, it's very interesting with Social Security. When a guy votes against Social Security and votes for the minimum age raise, you know, there are many other things we could do. We don't have to do that. For instance, we could increase our world by the gold that we have under our feet. It's gold. The oil is gold. We have it, China doesn't. And we have more than any other country. You know, we have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia. And we don't use it. I call it liquid gold. What we could do with that. We don't have to do this to Social Security, and we don't have to do it to Medicare. But when a guy wants to cut Medicare, that's DeSantis, wanted to cut it. Officially, as a congressman, wanted to cut it. And when he wants to cut Social Security, you can bet. Now, I don't know what he's saying about it now, but he's probably saying, we will defend. You can bet he'll be doing it later, and he'll be doing it to you. It always happens. I mean, I've seen it almost 100% of the time. It's what their original thought is. I will always protect Medicare and Social Security just like I have for our great seniors. Nobody's ever heard me say, and I ran, you know, in some pretty good races, and nobody has me saying I'm voting against Medicare and Social Security to stop the Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting conservatives and people of religion. Catholics. How about Catholics? How would a Catholic ever vote for Joe Biden when there's actually an assault on Catholics? I mean, I don't know how many Catholics are. Who's a Catholic in this room? How would anybody as a Catholic, because specifically Catholics are targeted by the FBI and the DOJ, and then you're supposed to vote for Joe Biden? It doesn't make sense. I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical district attorney and an AG and a DA, okay? Attorney generals all over the country. They're crooked as hell. A lot of them are really bad. They said one in New York with me, I will get Donald. This one in New York campaigned against me. I will get Donald Trump. Do you know anything about him? No, I don't, but I will get him. It's an incredible phenomenon that's taking place. I will immediately terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration. It's all open borders, open borders. Let them come in. Under Biden, other countries are emptying out their prisons, insane asylums, mental institutions, dumping everyone, including mass numbers of terrorists, into our country. They're in our country now. And they have no shame. They just let it happen. And I think the real number of people coming in, you know, you hear 3 and 4 and 5 million. I think it's 15 million by the end of this year. I think it's going to be 15. You watch, I'll be right about that too. People are pouring in, and nobody's even watching. And they are coming in from mental institutions, and a story I tell just quickly is that a psychiatrist, very highly respected guy, he was sitting reading a newspaper in a psych ward in a Latin American country. And he said, I've always worked 24 hours a day. I'm the hardest worker, but we have no patients left. They've all been put into the United States. And he wasn't saying it as a wise guy. He's just saying, we don't have any patients. Our patients have already, they've been let, and some of these people, he said, are very, very sick. These people have been taken out of the institution and he's saying, I have, first time in my life, I have a lot of time because we don't have patients. They've all been removed to the United States of America. How stupid is this? And it's forget about good politics. It has to be the worst politics, but how can we do that? How can we let this happen? And no country can afford this. And you're seeing the signs of it already. And you look at some of these areas and some of the crime areas, and some of these people are staying in luxury hotels paid for by cities, luxury hotels, and yet our great veterans are sleeping on the streets with no benefits. Okay, so explain this. These people are being treated, they're given cell phones and they're given treatment. People are greeting them off the bus. You ever watch the guys? Hello, welcome, welcome. And you have friends, I'm sure you do, I do. They say, is there anything you can do to help me? I've been working 12 years to become a citizen, and they're taking tests and everything else. And every once in a while, I'll say, listen, I have an idea. Walk over to the southern border and just come right in. You work in 12 years, you can do it in one day. It's terrible. No, it's a terrible thing. And you have people that take it very seriously, and they work very hard, and they come in legally. And we want to have people come in, but they have to come in legally. Following the Eisenhower model, Eisenhower was very tough on immigration. We'll use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation of criminals, of very tough, these are hardened, many of them, hardened criminals. We're going to get them out of our country fast. The Biden border crisis is also a drug and fentanyl crisis. Under my administration, we reduced drug overdose deaths in New Hampshire by 18%. Now, that's good, but we can do better. But, we set up these blue ribbon committees. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce a blue ribbon committee with you. Everybody wants to be on the committee, but, they don't get a lot done. The thing that gets it done is the death penalty for drug dealers. Other than that, you're just wasting your time. The committee is headed up by our great First Lady, Melania Trump. Thank you very much, everybody. No, people like her. But they do love her. They do love her, and she says hello to everybody. She loves this state. But think of this, a blue ribbon committee. We have a lot of socialites, a lot of dilettantes, a lot of politically connected. They all want to be in the committee, but they don't, it's not their thing. When I was in China, I said to President Xi, it's tough. I said, President, do you have a drug problem? No. He looked at me like, what the hell kind of a stupid question is this? I said, how come you don't have, we give death penalty immediately, quick trial. I said, what the hell is a quick trial? Quick trial, I figured it out pretty quick. It means quick, it means fast. Well, I gave quick trial. And we execute drug dealers. And China used to have, 150 years ago, tremendous, they were taken over by smaller nations, including Japan and other places, because they were all drugged out, the opium, and they were all drugged out. And along came some very tough people, and they said, we can't have this. And they don't have a drug problem at all. They cause drug problems for us because they send in fentanyl, and they make the fentanyl. And they would have ended that too. I had to deal with him, though he wasn't going to do it. He was going to make that a criminal offense to make it. But once I got out, nobody followed that up. He would have done it too. He would have made it a criminal offense. He was prepared to do it. I will destroy the cartels just as we destroyed the ISIS caliphate. 100% of ISIS. When I came in, they said, you won't be able to do it. I said, yes, I will. And we destroyed it in a very short period of time. We had some great generals. Not all of them are like the television guys, the guys you see on television. They are not the best. I will deploy the U.S. Navy to impose a full naval embargo on cartel trafficking. And New Hampshire in particular, you have a drug problem that's unbelievable, because I go to different states, and some have, and many have it, but I don't think there's anyone that has more severe drug problems than New Hampshire. So we have to get your governor to get a little bit more active on that, because that's a bad thing. That's really hurting It's really hurting your state. I think that per capita, New Hampshire is just about the worst in the country. Just about. It's right up there. It's very. And your firemen and your policemen do an incredible job. They do unbelievable because that's like a new job. No, we have to have him get much tougher. I will immediately sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. As I said, I will keep men out of women's sports, and I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. Can you believe that? No, can you believe you have to say that? I'm going to sign a law to prohibit child sexual mutilation. Can you imagine saying that 15 years ago? People would look around, what's he talking about? That's taking place in our country. It's insane what's going on. In addition, I'll not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or mask mandate from kindergarten through college. And just as I did for 4 years, I will fully protect and uphold your Second Amendment. I did a job. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. And nobody did better at this because I got Roe v. Wade ended. I will defend innocent life. Nobody thought that was possible. I will bring back free speech in America. We will bring it back. I'd like to say I'd bring back a fair and free and open press, but that's probably harder than anything else. These people, they're indoctrinated. There's something wrong. You know, they used to be like the policemen of our country in a sense. Now they're vicious on one side and on the other side. And it doesn't make sense because all of the things that the other group is espousing are just so terrible. I mean, the concept of open borders and all of the things that they want. A woke military. You know, I rebuilt our entire military. Woke. It's very woke. At least at the top levels. I think it's not taking on too well with the soldiers. That's one of the reasons they can't recruit. Because they're asking questions. These guys are looking, they're saying, and women, they're looking at them, they're saying, what the hell kind of questions are they asking me? And it's turning them off and they're not signing up. Our military is having a hard time signing people. This is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. The USA is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard. The way it's going, we're going to lose our currency as the world standard, which will be the single greatest defeat for this country in 200 years. That will be catastrophe. It won't happen with me, not even a chance. Just like Russia would never have invaded Ukraine and China would not have even thought about Taiwan, as I said. If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would have never done the destruction to our country as crooked Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. Nobody's done damage to this country like this. Our country is a failing nation. We are a failing nation. We're a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections again by using law enforcement this time. The other's going to be harder to do. So they want to use corrupt law enforcement. It's totally crazy what's going on. Our country has such a chance and such an opportunity. I don't believe it can survive another 4 years. I think surviving for another short period of time, another year, is very tough. It's going so bad so fast. What they're doing to our country is so sad. You see what they're proposing. Let's build a windmill on every farm. Let's build everything. I mean, you have to see these fields. They're like junkyards, windmills all over the place. Windmill, most expensive energy anywhere in the world by far. They're all made in China, a little bit in Germany, but all in China. And you look at some of these fields, and your energy costs are zooming. They're going through the roof. It's so destructive. all electric everything. Now they want to take away your gas stoves. Does anybody like gas better? You cook a lot more than I do. Because I have a lot of friends that are really into the cooking thing, and they say gas is better. So, but they want to take it away. They want to take away your washing machines and your dryers. They don't want to give you any water for the washing machine. Even though you have so much water, you don't know what the hell to do with it up here. It flows out into the ocean. But this is the final battle. This is really the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the sick, crazy warmongers. They are warmongers from our government. And by the way, peace through strength. Don't forget, I built the greatest military in the world. New jets, new everything. Everything was great. Then they gave 85 billion of it away, but even that's peanuts compared to what we did. I gave Ukraine the anti-tank missiles that they shot, called javelins. Obama gave them sheets. You know, they say, oh, Trump was very nice, or I was the one that said about Russia, you're not going to build the pipeline. I stopped the pipeline. When Biden came in, he came in and he said, yes, they can build the pipeline, going to Germany and all parts of Europe. And nobody was tougher on Russia. Nobody was tougher on China. And yet I got along with them. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. But we wouldn't have had a world war, and we wouldn't have had these other wars, and we wouldn't have had the conflict. And we could very well end up in a world war. And this would be a nuclear war, a war the likes of which, this is not two army tanks running around shooting at each other. These are weapons that are so powerful. That's why our country right now is in the most dangerous time in the history of our country, but in the history of the world, because of the power of the weaponry. And we have a man who's grossly incompetent as the head of the United States of America, which could lead all other countries. I led all other countries. Some of them liked me, some of them didn't. But we were the boss. I led the countries. We have none of that now. They go for trips to Saudi Arabia, where he needs something. You know what he needs? Oil, because he refuses to take it from under our feet. And he gives a fist bump to the future king of Saudi Arabia, who happens to be a wonderful person. You know what a fist bump is? That's, don't shake my hand because your hand is dirty. That was greatly insulting. He travels for 20 hours on Air Force One, spewing lots of fumes if you're into that world. And he gives a fist bump to the future king of Saudi Arabia. In other words, he insulted, and he got nothing. But these are people that are stupid people that are leading us. These are people that don't know what's happening. And these are people that have put us in the most dangerous position in the history of the world right now because of the power of weaponry. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, the Marxists, the fascists, and we have them in our country. That's what's doing all of this stuff with the Department of Justice and with the FBI. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country, and we will rout the fake news media. We have no choice because they're not doing it themselves. We will defeat Joe Biden, and we will drain the swamp once and for all. And just in conclusion, I say that the great silent majority is rising like never before. It's a great, great silent majority. And under our leadership, the forgotten men and women will be forgotten no longer. So with your help and your love and your vote, we will win New Hampshire and we will make America great again, greater than ever before. So God bless you. God bless everyone. God bless New Hampshire, and God bless America. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
you go, President Trump with yet another great and encouraging speech to the American people, this time in New Hampshire. He is Teflon Don. He stands for truth. He is the people's president. As you just heard, he said, quote, "With you by my side, we will abolish the deep state. We will drive out the globalists, the communists, and Marxists, and will drain the swamp once for all." Let's take a look at some of the sponsors. We're thankful for a number of our sponsors, including Birch Gold. All you have to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information on the switch to gold. Also, Blackout Coffee. Patriots making our brews, doing a great job there, so you can visit them online as well. And finally, the Trumpinator bobblehead doll. That's a good one for the collectibles for you, for memorabilia, for Donald Trump, as we pray and hope and believe and work towards free and fair elections and President Trump overcoming the indictments, as well as just a great speech here in New Hampshire. For everyone at Right Side Broadcasting, I'm Matthew Alvarez, reporting live in New Hampshire. We'll see you next time.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and you're watching Right Side Broadcasting Network. I have a new show over there on Rumble that comes out every Tuesday and Friday called Let It Be Heard. What we do is react to videos, we analyze the culture, and we analyze politics from a biblical perspective. I think you're going to enjoy it, so I'll see you over there. God bless.
Right Side Broadcasting is known for panning the crowds, showing the packed arenas, and allowing you to see the truth. We've covered hundreds of rallies, briefings, marches, CPAC, and the historic overturning